What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That is your girl Adara. I'm Sharif, and as per usual, we're going to wait for everyone to migrate on over. We already have Pillsbury in the chat, and obviously we got Bears versus Bulls. Roger as well as Easy Trader, Andrew Chow, Aft, Mateus Lane, Pitchbull, Benson Yang, Darwin Thomas, Mr. Longshorts. We got Jameson, Sofa Master, Jacob, Rye. We got Mark Susi, Alexander as well. We got Harl. There we go. Tex Trader, Brett, John, Ritz, Mackenzie. Yes, baby. We got VWAP Gangsta. Amazing name. Ronin as well. Crapstock. We got Cursed. We got, it's moving too fast. We got Hans Beer, Robin, David Clark. The Gauntlet is in the chat. Thank you so much for joining Adara and I today on How to Trade. Great show for you. We're talking about short selling all week, and it could not come a moment sooner because, well, the NQ is down 1 3/4. We're down 0.85 on the ES, and both the Dow and the Russell both in negative territory as well. Adara, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Okay, not bad.
Oh. Yes.
Yeah. Everything is going well. How's what's to look at? Oh, I see some triangles already. We'll talk about that, but yeah, well, maybe we'll get back to that in a second. But you're long Tesla. The stress of Stressla already right on the show. 11:02, and we're not waiting a second before we start trading on here. Let me just go over my trades real quick. AAPL, we took that 170 dip bounce. Initially, I know broke down. We took that initial one for almost a buck back, almost a buck, right into that 170.80 area. Pleased with that. I had another order to get a bit more size at that 170.05, but alas, it didn't hit it on that occasion. It ended up hitting it over here around 10:10 time slot. The other trade that I had, META, the Katina Man, letting you guys know that Meta, Facebook, and whatever network they're running on there is not working or wasn't working when I last checked. I don't know if it's back up now. So as soon as that news came in, short, and cover, took $1 on that with Meta. So please, as punch about that. And then I'm also watching Netflix. I was watching that 600 level on NFLX. Initially, I wanted this to hold at 600, but we get almost a 597 dip. Now we're kind of doing a sideways move at 600. I was hoping the 100 level would hold. It's not holding in even like a loose, it's not definitely not holding in a strict sense. It's not even holding in a loose sense because I did not want to give this $3 worth of range. So if we don't get that hold on Netflix and a quick bounce up, I'm not going to take this trade. But I was looking to defend a very strong stock. Look at how Netflix has been trading the last few weeks. It's been awfully strong. So look for some strength there. And alas, it was not to be. So we're gonna forego that trade and see what comes up next. All right, but today we are talking about shorting a trading range breakdown. And essentially what we're going to talk about here is a consolidative look on an instrument and then eventually breaking support and heading south. We're going to talk a little bit about how to weasel your way into that trade. So first and foremost, we got to understand what this strategy is all about. So obviously this strategy involves short selling. It's short selling an instrument that's been trading within a defined price range for some time. Essentially here what you're looking for is you're anticipating a breakdown below the established support level, signaling obviously a potential shift towards a downtrend and an overall shift in sentiment for that particular stock. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking short selling an instrument, trading within a defined range, and anticipating a breakdown below support to take advantage of some negative sentiment. So why would you wait for the breakdown? Why wouldn't you just take it at the high end of the range and then anticipate a breakdown of support? So what we're looking for here is confirmation. We don't, like Adara and I always say on this desk, we don't want to anticipate, we want to participate. So you're waiting for a confirmation of the trend change. So a breakdown below support suggests a break in buyer support, potentially indicating obviously a shift in sentiment and the start of a breakdown. And by waiting for that key level of support to break, you're also exercising better risk management strategies. So waiting for the breakdown reduces the risk of entering a short position prematurely within a range where prices may still reverse and cause losses. So we're in a range for a reason. We've been holding that support level for a reason. And until the ghost gets given up at that particular level, you are in risk of the trade going against you. So you're always in risk, obviously, of the trade going against you, but I think this increases the chances somewhat. So how do you identify these opportunities to short a trading range breakdown? So first and foremost, you need to define the trading range. So what you're looking for is a stock that's obviously been trading within a range. So what does that entail? So you're looking for a stock with a consistent price range on a chart. This is often identified by horizontal lines representing resistance, which is the upper limit of the range, and the support, which is the lower limit of the range. So that's what you're looking for. You're on the hunt for something that has been moving sideways within a consolidative range. Ideally, if you're looking for a short, what you want is something that had a downtrend preceding the consolidative range, because what you're looking for is something down, consolidative, and then looking to break down again below that range, because it's already signaled to you that it's shown weakness before it got into that range. So ideally here, the best setup is one that has the one that has a downtrend preceding the consolidative range. And then step two, you have to do a thorough volume analysis. So observe the trading volume. Generally, lower volume is expected within the range. So trading within the range usually happens on lower volume. And then a spike in volume often accompanies the breakdown of the range, indicating increased selling pressure. And obviously, that's indicating more eyes on that particular instrument. So what we're looking for here is the breakdown to be accompanied by higher volume than was the average within the range. So you're looking for that. Step three, very important, your entry point here. Consider entering a short position shortly after the price breaks the support level. So again, we're waiting for confirmation of the giving way of that support level before we get in. So maybe we don't want to sit 170 on Apple, but we want to sit maybe 169.89. I'm giving you any random numbers there. Okay, you're waiting for confirmation of the break of the support level. And you should also be looking for increased volume there as well. Like we said, this confirmation helps avoid false breakdowns and quick reverses. And then you also need to look at your exit position. Where are you going to wet your beak on some profits? Consider where you may want to take profits should the breakdown come to fruition. Look for previous key areas of support, or well, in this case, it's going to be support on the chart, or any key areas that may act as support and send the price back, or act as resistance and then send the price back down. So look above that, or sorry, you're looking for key areas of support, excuse me, that may send the price back up. So below the breakdown level, you're looking, you know, where is the next support level on Apple below 170? I would say maybe 160, maybe 165-ish, in that area. So you're looking for where you can wet your beak on some profits, and that next level should be a key area of support. And then also, you need to manage risk on these trades. I mean, that is part and parcel of day trading and swing trading in general. So you're going to have to use stop loss orders here. So you're placing your stop loss order slightly above the support level that broke down, okay, to automatically exit your position if the price unexpectedly rises above the range, limiting, obviously, potential losses. And your position sizing, super important, especially in short selling. Allocate a small portion of your capital to each short position. And remember, there is a greater inherent risk to short selling than going long due to the unlimited potential liability to the upside, right? So we talked a little bit about that yesterday with respect to risk management. You may want to allocate a certain percentage of your overall capital to short selling, whereas you may allocate a larger percentage of that one trade for going long. So for example, if I was to take, I'm just giving you a new number, 10% of my overall account going long Apple, I may want to reduce that if I'm taking a short position on Apple to 5% of my overall account. Not financial advice, just a suggestion, food for thought for you guys to think about there. And remember, guys, Very important stuff. The strategy is not foolproof. The price may bounce to the support level, off the support level, and reverse upwards, causing losses. And false breakdowns happen all the time. Again, 170, perfect example on Apple. False breakdowns can occur, leading to unnecessary exits and missed opportunities. Utilize additional technical indicators or even fundamental analysis, if you want to go down that route, to confirm the breakdown's validity. We gave you one tool there, which is to look for outsized volume on the breakdown as compared to what the volume was during the trading range. And again, like always, short selling is inherently risky. Always prioritize risk management and conduct thorough research before getting into a short position. Questions or comments, Adara?
Yeah, so one thing, I guess, would this kind of just general strategy work as well with other bearish pattern breakdowns, like bear flags, descending wedges, etc.? Just making sure you set your loss, because both those also involve breakdowns, right? That's, I guess, why.
So so yes, you make a good point in that a bull flag or a bear flag or a bear pennant have trading ranges. So you have that breakdown, then you have that sideways movement. But that's not the one that I'm actually talking about.
So we're mostly talking just about the ranges.
Yeah. Now, if it ends up looking like a bear flag because it had a big downtrend preceding it, all the better. Okay. But I don't think that that's a necessity.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
What else you got?
Yeah, one other thing as well. I think sometimes to just make sure, because I know sometimes what I'll do as well is I'll trade kind of within these ranges if we have like a range that's been going on for a while, right? One thing though that I want to note with that is, as Sharif said, it is a little bit more of a risky strategy because you can be getting in at what you think is near the top of the range and then we come way back up, right? So that's when you want to set tight stop losses. Be also as well with regards to the exit points and profit takers. I would always say, like, be cognizant of how much you have going in and how much you want to take out at each area, right? So if you want to get out right at the breakdown, make sure that you have enough to get out some profit there and then also save maybe a piece for the dream if that's part of the strategy that you've planned out. But also, you know, be cognizant you might want to have a smaller position size to begin with because this strategy is a little bit riskier by nature. So yeah, those are kind of my notes there as someone who enjoys range trading. Also, Thomas Johnson saying SPY 1 minute. Good example of preceding downtrend, then consolidation. Thank you very much, Thomas Johnson. And I appreciate that you give the time frame here as well, because sometimes certain things will look a little bit different on different time frames. Oh, I'll have to zoom in here for this guy. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. So we had this move down, and then we kind of chop and churn roughly. This range is the bottom of this range a little bit wider, but the top of this really clear here around this 501.80 area. Then sometimes we get down to about that 507.88, 507.90. This gives you about like 30, 40 pennies, depending on each little bounce we have here. And then the lowest of this range is going to be around that 507.60, 507.50. This is a really good example. I like this one. And as someone who enjoys ranges, this is a look that I like. So thank you very much for that in the wild example, Thomas Johnson.
Sounds good.
How are you doing over here?
Nothing doing over here, just continuing to watch Meta on that week news. I can show the chart over here because that 488 seems to be a bit of a support level, but I have nothing. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I had a bit of a type of trade here on Tesla. Thought I saw a double bottom. It's always really frustrating when you miss your point of exit by like pennies. So I'll switch to the 5 minute. So we had the 5 minute here. I liked that we had this bounce off that 178.80 area and we held it like a glove. So I got the first part in just below 178s. Then I got 179s. Then I got the rest in here around that 178.75 area. So I liked where I added. We kept holding this really well. After I initially thought we were going to bounce better, when I realized we weren't going to have the bounce I thought we were, I said, that's okay. Let's get out 178.76s, right? We get to 75s and then 95. So it was going to be 178.95, 96. Then we get to 95s and we flush. So that's, you know, I do need to get better at getting the exact points right for these exits, but that's okay. We made a new lower low. That was really going to be my point of exit here. We dropped below that area and then we fell to the downside. I wanted to give this trade a little bit more room. We didn't lose too much here, but it's still, you know, always going to be a little bit frustrating. That's okay. It was planned. It didn't work out. C'est la vie, as Obi says. Where's the next trade? I don't have a next trade right this moment, but I do like this look of Microsoft here. For some reason, I have the Microsoft 1 minute on my side charts. This might not look the same on my 5. I should probably change it to the 3. But yeah, I mean, same kind of idea. I'm noticing we do kind of have these lower lows here. A little bit of rejection off that 9 EMA. Let me switch to the 3 minute to see if I can get a better look here. I'm always looking for these range opportunities. The 3 and the 1, it looks a little bit like more curled, like we're kind of moving back up here. So I want to wait for a little bit more confluence as someone who trades a lot of the 5 minute charts to see if there's something that I like in general, so that they're all kind of moving and trending in the same direction. But yeah, I like the look of something in Microsoft. I just need to make sure I have the direction correct on that. NVIDIA, kind of getting a little spicy to me as well. I tried to get involved here at this 844.50 short, missed that. It dropped down, it came back up. I like the idea of this, though. We're seeing the stutter step to the downside. Lower highs, lower highs. I think, you know, this could maybe be a little bit interesting. I'm eyeing this 844 area. I'm not gonna I can't believe I just said 844 NVIDIA. I'm still wrapping my brain around the move that this one has made. But I think this is kind of an interesting look here on NVDA. But again, being that it is NVIDIA and that it will do what it wants to do when it wants to do it, I wanna be very cognizant of this one before I start running in all willy-nilly. Also AMD, a little bit interesting to me as well here. AMD, I like that this is, to me, this is just kind of rangy, right? I'm actually gonna draw this out. So, we have sort of the bottom of the range here at that $200.60 area. Then this area that used to be VWAP, I find we get kind of interesting, that 201.60s that gives you about $1. We had this range playing for a little bit. Then we have some of these pops here, and this has started going back to the pre-market into that 202.40, right? So if we kind of see these ranges coming back into fruition, which we kind of are, I think this could be interesting. I like playing off previous support and resistance. And again, much like what I'm seeing with Microsoft, I want to kind of wait for direction here. The Microsoft looks like it's popping to the upside. I'm going to have to give that one some more attention. Same with that potential NVIDIA short. Again, with the NVIDIA short, just playing the ranges, ping-ponging this off of previous support and resistance.
Yeah, so we're getting a nice pop here on Apple through VWAP. I was thinking about shorting this at the 50-penny level, but it's breaking through that, and it's on its way to $0.75. I don't think I'm going to take any. I don't want to take any long trades. I had the 170 long on Apple, and I'm quite content with that. Maybe something short off the 50 period or at these even dollar levels. Perhaps the 171 may be appropriate. We know for a fact that we had a 171 consolidation range bottom in the pre. And then we popped up there quickly into 172 on the IB high. And here we are again knocking on the door of that 171. So if that range, previously an area of support, is going to act as resistance this time around, this might be a super interesting short at that level. In addition to that 171 range, you have the 50 period, off which we rejected earlier, also at that 171 range. So I like when there is confluence between those two, between the indicator and the price action on the chart. So 171 may be a super interesting area to get short on AAPL. And again, you wouldn't really need to put much of a stop on this. 10, 15 pennies, you end up losing 10 a share, 10, 15 pennies a share, whatever. Give it to that general area. And then if you end up getting faked out, wait till it curls back down and then get right back in there, because you know that 170 is going to be like a magnet on the day for AAPL. So I'm keeping my eye on that. I'm not going to put any resting shorts at the 171 area. I'd rather watch how it trades. If I miss the trade, I miss the trade. I don't care. I already took a good trade on it. So we're watching AAPL here. In addition to AAPL, look at Google pop up off that 130. What's up, Katina Man? Amazon. In addition to Amazon, the Katina Man had Amazon 174 long on the sticky note. Look where it is, knocking on the door 175 right now. So we're getting a decent curl here, as Adara kind of alluded to with the look there on Softy on these Mag 7 names. We're not getting much of a pop on the future. Let's be honest with it. We dipped into 17,909. We're up a little bit there, back into that 50-point level at 17.9.5. But great look here on both Google and Apple. I'm going to be very interested in a 171 short on Apple. And shout out to Adam for Arsenal's monster win yesterday. 6-0, 5 goals in the first half, baby. Stadiums are empty everywhere we go. Stadiums are empty everywhere we go.
Is that one of the songs?
Everywhere we go. Yes, absolutely. That's one of the Arsenal songs.
I know, make sure you mentioned all the songs. I had no idea that was.
I just got a little excited. I'm sorry.
I enjoyed it.
What do you got over there?
I had this little NVIDIA short that I'm pretty happy with. Okay, I got involved here around this 844 area. Then what happens is we dip into that. Also, I want to add to, I was cognizant that this might have to be a shorter trade because look, we're seeing lower highs, but we're also seeing higher lows. So I thought this could get a little bit compressed. compressy. I was going to say compressla, but we're not in Tesla, so that's okay. Then what I'm noticing too is as I get in this, my initial plan for exit was going to be first that 843.02, so right before that 843 area, then going to be going for about 842.50. So even with these higher lows, we still should have been fine. But then I noticed we pop off that 843.20, so about 20 pennies shy of my first point of entry. That's when I realized, Adara, I think we actually could just be curling back up because we have had this big move up. We're bouncing a little bit off that 9 EMA. So I said, you know what, if we can get 50 pennies out of here, I'd be pleased as punch. We did. I'm happy with this. We're holding that 843.50 area really well. So this might be a bit of a time for a long or at least a scalp long. You know what I like to do, just scalping off these levels that I like, watching the tape, watching the book here because I found that's been incredibly helpful and that's what kind of saved me in the short right now here as well. You know, I mentioned yesterday as well, my trading instincts as a new trader are meh, to say the least. That's probably putting it a little bit kindly. So really every day I'm trying to hone them, trying to develop them, trying to mold them a little bit. I think this is just an example. If you see something on both the book and the chart that isn't working how you thought it was going to do, sometimes you got to adapt a little bit. That's what I did here. I think this NVIDIA long. Shockingly, NVIDIA could be long again. I know. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that so loudly. I realized right after the fact that I kind of jumped up there here as well.
Usually you're the one that gets startled, not me.
Oh, usually, yeah, I usually am. There's I know it's pretty amusing for some people for sure. But yeah, no. Also too, we had that Instagram video. Which check out our social media. We will have our social media team coming later. But also, there's that video of me jumping, and no one who I know was surprised by that at all.
What do you mean?
You know that video on the social media team where you're like spooking me or whatever, right?
Yes,
like,
yes.
Yeah, no one was shocked by it.
Oh yeah, wow.
That video. They were all like, oh yeah, sure, Adara. But yeah, so nice look there. Also, Tisha Perkins asking about DTSS. So let's look at DTSS. Volume on this is just under 2 million shares. I honestly, looking at this chart, thought it was going to be a little bit lighter, but we are at about just under 2 million shares. DTSS, Data C Inc. This one, okay, expects 1,128% revenue growth in 2024. So wow, expecting a revenue of about $86 million for the full year ending June 30th, 2024. So I think this one is a really good look. This one did have, yes, this was a halt earlier. That's why circuit break halter there, up 70%. Let's look at the float on this Data C. Let's see what we've got floating in the Data C. We do have, that was a double pun, I guess, because float as well. So we have 21.55 million share float, 0.3% short float. So to quote Sharif, that would be negligible short float. We're down about 59% from our 52-week high. So let's see the daily chart on this. It's still going as I speak. Yeah, okay, this is nice. So we had this nice little pop-up here. It looks like we could be extending above that 950 high, so that's a nice look as well. I love the support at the bottom here. We know I like my ranges. This is juicy support. I like this 570 area support. Beautiful bounce. I think this is honestly a pretty good look here for Data C, but honestly, it's a little bit harder to find patterns for me on the 3 or 5 minute in the intraday of this, just because all we see is upside. You know, if you see an opportunity, if it makes sense, maybe, but we do have about a 20 penny spread on this. And with the volume of now just over 2 mil for a small cap gapper, that's not a ton of volume, not a lot of short floats. So it's a little bit, other than these volume candles we've had right now and the positive news, it's a little bit harder to find a clear chart read on this one.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm in AISP right now. And I had a dip trade sitting at 21s. It went to 22s. It didn't cross. I'm trying for a VWAP hold on AISP. I'm going to cover this one, or I'm going to cover the small cap gappers in a second here because, believe it or not, there's actually a few decent ones here. I mean, when I looked up today at my scanner, I didn't see multiple triple-digit gainers like we typically do when it's a good small cap day. But here are the ones that I'm looking at. AISP. Let's look at this one. Definable pre-market high. They're at 830. The definable pre-market high that we had to break through was at 345. Right at the bell, right at 930, we break that pre-market high. So that's check number one. Is it above the pre-market high? And I think I just got filled. Yes, I did. I got filled. Now I'm looking for a $3 hold. It's going to have to hold above $3 on AISP, or otherwise I'm gonzino. Ideally, I would like for it to hold VWAP first and foremost, but my line in the sand is going to be the whole dollar level. So it broke through the pre-market high and it's trading above VWAP, hence why I got into AISP. I like it. We'll see if we can get some decent move, maybe back into the $0.50 or even we'll test 4. The other one I'm looking at, Dave, look at this rocket ship. It's not up that much, 47, almost 48% really, but the good move on it from a dollar per share perspective. We closed off yesterday at almost $22, $21.95, give or take. And then we have some sporadic trading there in the pre, but we do have a definable pre-market level from which we break, and we break through that, and we're trading above VWAP. So this one looks good. However, when you do a bit of a deeper dive into Dave, DAVE, it's only done 500,000 shares of volume. And the last 5 minutes, it's done 8,600 shares. Yeah, no thank you. Not going to trade that. There's just not enough volume being done. But thankfully, there is AVAV. AVAV. Look at this rocket ship. Starts its life yesterday, or closes yesterday, I mean, at 130.5. Gaps up in the aftermarket. I'm assuming this is on earnings. It's a 410 play. And we end up closing out at 8 p.m. at around $155. Well, that was, that was pretty much a good move there, because we held 150 there right at the IB low. We hold it exactly 150.11, and then look where we are. We're trading at high a day, currently at 170.50. However, as I look at this AV stock, I see a lot of, what is going on with this? Okay. Sorry, I'm going to have to look at the spread on a different screen because it's not showing me on my scanner. So what do we got here? Yeah, we got almost 80 pennies worth of spread. 169.51 the bid, 170.31 the ask. That's 80 pennies. That's kind of tough to stomach, especially on a prop floor where you have to manage risk, obviously. So that one I may have to stay away from, just owing to the spread. The other one on the day, there's OCEA. This one, not a new one, multi-day runner. Had a great day yesterday, ended up closing out the day a little bit above $4. And then today we do the same thing, essentially what we did yesterday. We break above the pre-market high. We're trading above VWAP 99% of the time, and we made another new high. Local high, $5.84. This one a lot easier to trade than AVAV, owing to the better spread on this name. So OCEA definitely on my watch as well. And then you have Real, REAL, not too much of a big move here, 11.25%, and also light on volume, but again, trading above VWAP, not a bad look. Last but not least, DWAC. This one had a nice move in the pre-market. This morning, closed out at $46, got up to almost 50, 49.92, then dips down back into 44.5. Now it's trying to make its way back up, at least maybe to the volume weighted average price at $48. It's trading at 46.75 right now. Obviously, today is Super Tuesday, so Funware, DWAC, all these names could be in play today and tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. Funware was definitely in play yesterday. I took a look at it today, but not doing much at the moment. So we'll leave that one to be. Let me just look at my trade here on AISP. This one is breaking down below VWAP, but let's see if it ends up being a bottoming tail candle. My line in the sand on this can be $3.
Hopefully that one continues to be an airship to the upside.
Hopefully.
It's a really nice look there on that one. But yeah, no, there's been a lot of small cappers today as well.
There has,
AISP,
yeah.
There was that NRXP as well. Lots of things ending with the letter P on these small caps today. Okay, yeah, NRXP kind of chilling out a little bit now. We have this little bit rangy. If it wasn't a penny stock, this could actually be an enticing range to me. We had a pseudo double bottom here at that 56-cent area, bounce right back up. Definitely lower highs though, and it does not pass the Sharif small cap test because we're below VWAP. That we have exceeded pre-market highs. But yeah, that's the look here on NRXP. Then also, I did have another scalp in NVIDIA, so I was pretty happy with that. So I know I said I was going to go long off the range in NVIDIA, but then I did end up, being a little sneaky. I did a short here. But why I did a short, though, was still part of the plan, in that I was basically watching for what we were doing kind of into this range, right? I noticed we kept bouncing off the 90 EMA, so I said to Dara, as long as you take the position off the 90 EMA area and you're cognizant, and you're watching this one like a hawk, looks like it should be pretty good. Happy with how this one went. I got in around that 847 area. I waited for a couple failed breaks of 847. We broke above it initially, but we couldn't stay above it. Once I saw there was like failed knocks at the door, NVIDIA wasn't letting people in above that 847. I hopped into that short around 846.49s, got out with about $1 in the money here, or in the simulator money there, right around that EMA area. We keep bouncing off the 9 EMA, but what I'm noticing here is we're having a little bit of a hard time getting above the 847.50 area. Why that might be, although I can't say for sure, is this area that we're barging into is also really close to that massive previous area of resistance here, or sorry, support. That's gonna be the 848 area. Look at, or I guess 848.50. Look at this, we get down here, 933, so almost right off the open. We have this massive tail to the downside here, suggesting that we're gonna have buyers overwhelming sellers, because it's actually kind of a doji, because we had both directions. Then we pop back up, right? So I think a massive resistance area here around that 848.50 area, which could explain why we're having a little bit of a trouble knocking on the door of this area. That being said, I think if we do break above this, I think, especially because it coincides with VWAP, so some confluence there, shout out to Obi, I think this could be a really powerful push to the upside if we do successfully break down those doors, break down those barriers, and see some more movement up. And as I say that, we're breaking into that 848.50. I'm not shorting this thing now that we're in this area, especially because I do think this is super key. But again, if I have some more range opportunities, I'm certainly not going to say no. I'll put it that way. But right now, out Nvidia, and I'm really happy about it. Tesla, I want to look at Tesla again, because I know a lot of people looking at this name. I think, ooh, okay, this is interesting. We're kind of seeing the same thing we saw earlier, where it looks like we're having a bit of a recovery. We kind of hang out around this 9 EMA, and then we fall back to the downside. This, however, is maybe a slightly better look, because why I got involved here is I thought I saw a double bottom. Here, though, what I'm seeing is we have a little bit, we have these failed candles of buying to the upside, mind you, but this is the same kind of thing we saw in Meta that ended up actually continuing to move to the downside. Oh, you're right, thank you. Thank you, Sharif. I appreciate that. Pointing out here as well, that area we're having a hard time eclipsing is the same area where we had support earlier. Thank you very much for that, I appreciate that. That 178 area, a little bit of a base, having a really hard time getting above that area. So I think if we do, that could be momentous indeed, knocking on the door of that range right now, to steal a Sharifism there. But yeah, I think this could be an interesting look. I think if this, I can't really tell what direction we're going in this though, especially because, as Sharif pointed out, we're coming into that area of that 178, 80, so I want to wait and see, but I think either way, Tesla's giving you some ranges. Tesla's been a little bit of spicy, so we might be hopping in to that Cybertruck, but I need to wait for a reason why, or you know, Model Y there. How are you doing?
Not too bad. I'm actually looking at that NVIDIA trade that you were talking about. I think you bring a very good point, Adara, that it's at that VWAP area, and it's a, I don't want to say it's a similar look to Tesla, but it's kind of the same thing where you had a little bit of a support area initially at this, let's just say 849, 850 level. We're right back there. VWAP is at that 848 level, but you know, when we're talking about NVIDIA, when we're talking about a dollar range, I don't know, is that like a 10 cent range on a small cap gapper? I don't know. I don't know what the exact equivalency is, but I'm keeping an eye on VWAP, whether we reject or not, whether I'm not going to sit with a resting order waiting to get triggered at VWAP. That's not how I'm going to play NVIDIA. I want to see NVIDIA trend at least down, reject it, show me a couple of 5-minute red candles to make new lows, and then maybe we'll jump into this one. But it's going to be with really small size. It's just super hard to manage risk on this, on a prop floor right now. You already got $2 if you got short right there, because the top of this candle's at 848.5. You're at 846. I'm barely holding on. So great look for whoever was sitting there. That's just not my style to take it like that, though. But great look on NVIDIA. Look possibly short here. Maybe there are some other names to play short. Somebody was asking me about Meta short. I had a nice short on Meta, but now it's bouncing off that 488. So I don't think the market cares all too much that they had an outage, or at least it's not showing that it cares all that much. 1.5% isn't really a whole lot here on a $500 name. Bouncing off that 488 bottom that we had earlier on. We didn't even make it up to VWAP though. So if you were looking for maybe a VWAP retracement into 492 or thereabouts, you didn't get it on META. So we'll continue to watch and see what we get here. But obviously a red day, no question about that for the market. So keeping eyes on NVIDIA. I'm also keeping eyes on AISP. It's a trade I'm involved in right now. It's doing its darndest to hold that VWAP, but my line in the sand is going to be $3. And this one is, you know, despite the fact that it is above the pre-market high, despite the fact that it is above VWAP, look at this. It's a bit of a downtrend right now with sequentially lower high, lower high, lower high. We haven't put in a higher high since around 11:15 when we broke through to this 346 area. So this trade may be sadly coming to an end if it breaks through $3. So we'll keep eyes on that as well. I'm also keeping eyes on OCEA, but I definitely want to get a better price than getting in at 5.5. I'm looking for something like a 530 or thereabouts. Perhaps maybe, a mean retracement here from the low there at the open at around 930, or sorry, the high there at the open, the IB high on this one, and the high that we have right now, 584, somewhere in the middle there maybe for a long. We'll continue to watch. Not much happening in my world other than this AISP long. Keeping an eye on my scanner. I see DTSS coming in. Oh boy, what is this nonsense? So here we go, another small cap gapper, baby. DTSS trades on the NASDAQ, 32 million share float. $32 million market cap. The float, if this thing will load. Oh boy, today is one of those days, isn't it?
Feels like a Monday.
1.436 million share float, so very small. Let's find out what the short float is on it. You can show my screen, guys, because I'm going to DTSS. There we go. We got 4.9%, so not much of a short float on this one. So we'll continue to watch. But this one's flying up, guys. 114%. Just got going here at around 11 o'clock. Well, actually, it halted earlier at 10:45, but it was halted for 15 minutes. Opened up at 11:05. We have two halts. They're both up. One at $10, one at $6.50 or thereabouts. $13 high right now. Keep an eye on the spread. It's like about 20 pennies or so right now, so it's a bit harder to trade, especially for a $12 name, but it's giving you ample opportunity. Let's see what this one does.
Yeah, I have to say, this AMD, a little bit sad because we did have a fat finger type situation here, and it was actually going pretty well. So the plan was, I drew so many lines here. I should probably make my lines thicker because I've noticed this thing yesterday, and Sharif and I were talking about this. I've started drawing my trading ranges onto the charts if I see ones I like, and I did do that with AMD. We got to the bottom of here area of this this VWAP, kind of the bottom of this range. I liked it. We bounced. I got involved in that long. The plan was to get out at around that 202.30 area, which we actually did jump it up into, but by that time I'd already exited because instead of typing 202.30, I typed 201.30. So I got out. We had the 10 penny winner on that, so I'm not going to complain there. I have certainly had more disastrous typo situations, let me tell you, and you've certainly seen them here as well. But yeah, I think if this range keeps kind of coming into fruition, there's certainly some nice scalpy opportunities, and I have all of the ranges drawn right on here on my AMD chart. Hopefully the next trade won't be such an AM disaster. No, I'm joking. It didn't go that badly. It's just a little, I guess it's more of an AM disappointment, but we're gonna have to see here what happens on this AMD chart because I do like the range here as is kind of maybe clear from the way I've drawn it out so thoroughly. Also, this meta short, you were in the meta short earlier too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice look, and I like this double top as well.
Yeah.
This is actually, I should have gotten this off the double top. This is my type of trade. We have a bit of a double bottom as well, so certainly a bit of a range happening here on the META. NVIDIA falling massively. Yeah, you called it. That rejection off that 848 was massive there. Continuing to fall. I'm happy. I was considering getting back involved in this, but we couldn't hold that 846, so I'm pleased as punch I didn't get involved in that long, because that would have been, to say the long would have been wrong would be a little bit of an understatement. Chill vibes. Pretty excited here about Target, so let's talk about this. Let's see if happy to hear that Target got your target level. So a nice look here. Ooh, I got excited. I'm so sad I missed this earlier look at Target earlier today. Ooh, oh boy, as Opie might say. We have all these failed wicks here into that 170 area. When we get to that 169.20, so this is clearly the top of the range. We see it a couple times. I didn't draw that line very straight, but I think that's clearly top of the range. That 169.20, 169.30. Bottom of that range going to be around that 168. So that gives you about $1.30 with which to explore and play. And that range kept coming like a ping pong ball boop, back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. Then the range gets lower, and then we see what Sharif calls a flat bottom break, the patented Sharif flat bottom break here, falling up the 168, falling to the downside here, down to that 167.20 area. So that gives you about $1 if you got in at the bottom of that. Actually, kind of an example of trading a trading range breakdown. Well, this one's a little bit different because it wasn't an uptrend rather than a downtrend. But you see, if you got short at the bottom of that range, you had a good times were had indeed, as Chill Vibes in the chat here seems to be getting at. So I think this is a nice look. Get a Real Job, they say, is asking, what is pleased as punch? So basically, it is a saying. We found out earlier it's a Britishism. It's a British saying from the Punch and Judy shows. And so, yeah, basically, it's just, I don't know, it's just when I'm in a good mood. Please,
and I've taken it from you as well at times. All right, we're holding on here with this AISP trade as it does hold on to 3. I don't think I'm going to hold on to this one for much longer. I don't like what it's doing at these levels, so I'll just flatten it out there. I'm lucky not to get stopped out. I ended up adding right at 3 to get myself out of trouble, and then we ended up actually taking a win on it, but I'm not gonna go into that because that was a do not do. I just did it so that I don't go right on the day, but that was a do not do, so I'm not going to talk more about that. All right, let's see what OCEA is doing, because this one's above VWAP and definitely tradable in my book right now, but we want to get it at a better price, and the best it's giving you so far is this 540, 539-ish area. I want something at VWAP. I think, I'm just probably going to pack my patience with this one. I'm not going to chase this at the highs. It's going to come down to VWAP and hold, then I'll participate in it. Maybe I'll sit at 520 or so because VWAP's at 515 right now. Maybe by the time it incrementally makes its way down, VWAP will be at 520. So we'll see what we get with this bad boy. OCEA looking awfully good here. A lot of good small cap gappers. Just they're either super spready or they're not setting up in the right way. This one over here on DTSS, I've got a dip trade hanging out at $10 to defend this halt level, which I consider an area of support. That's kind of a little bit of a trick that I have here with these small cap gappers, especially the ones that have halted a couple of times. The first couple of halts, usually they respect that level as an area of support, so you'll see it bounce off that area initially anyway when it makes its way down. It's not a hard and fast rule, just something that I've observed over the years. So keeping my eye on that. If it makes its way down about a couple of bucks, maybe we'll get long in and around there. Well, let's see what people are saying. Premium plot. Does Papa Powell speak this week? Yes. Papa Powell is scheduled to speak in front of the House of Representatives and the Senate. He's got 2 dates there to get grilled, and that's probably what he will be getting. He will be getting grilled likely with respect to how long these interest rates are going to stay elevated. We'll have to wait and see what he says and what kind of timetable he gives the members of Congress. So we also have Fed Barr speaking at 12, so in about 18 minutes or so, he's going to be dropping hot lines, and then he speaks again at 3:30, so he'll be speaking twice today, once at 12, once at 3:30, and then Jerome Powell's tomorrow and Thursday, right?
Yes, yeah.
Thank you, yeah. So 2 days, I don't know where he is tomorrow, whether he's in the House or the Senate, you can figure that out, that's easy, but he is speaking in both houses, so 2 days possibly here for volatility. Shout out to Papa Powell. Jared Tweedle. OCEA just blasted up after you moved off of it. LOL. Isn't that just my life, Jared? Yeah, you're just not going to catch everything here. And I got to tell you, Jared, if it doesn't come into my area like I was yapping about here at that 520 area, generally, I want it off VWAP. I'm just not going to take it at these levels. If that means missing the trade, then, so be it. I got to get it at a key level that I like. But OCA looking awfully good, man. 42.5%. Who's going to complain about that? It's a multi-day runner, too. Like, look at the 15-minute look here. It's a beautiful look from February 23rd on. This basically has been pumping since February 23rd. Let's look at so from the low of February 23rd to the high we just made up now on OCEA, we're up 875% since the 23rd of February. What does this company do, you ask? Nobody asked, but I'll tell you anyway. It is, what's up? What does that company do? Thanks, Katina Man. The Katina Man asks, I will gladly oblige now. Ocean Biomedical is a biopharmaceutical company. The company is focused on discovering and developing therapeutic products in oncology, fibrosis, infectious disease, and inflammation all sound fantastic as avenues to pursue. 875% is nothing to argue with. Within a couple of weeks, Adara, what a look for OCEA.
I will say, too, I like that we have both Data C and Ocean running in the same day.
Right?
Reminds me of that time that you told me there was something called Eyes running, and then later ears started running as well. This is unfortunately before I started. But yeah, Sharif has told me that story, and I always, I'm like, oh, that would have been really fun to be a part of. But yeah, so certainly, you know, they both have, I don't know if Ocean has a catalyst, but I know that we do have that Data C catalyst with that massive revenue increase there. Yeah, Ocean Biomedical, oh, they appointed a new CFO last night, so they both have catalysts, which is even cooler that they're both running at the same time.
Okay.
So yeah, kind of
like
there. Again, definitely not the main story there. Obviously, the main story are their catalysts, but it's always kind of interesting when tickers with semi-similar names decide to run in tandem.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Guys, who in the chat remembers eyes and ears running together? And it was like one would have a catalyst and then the other one would just join in because, well, if you're going to trade eyes, you might as well trade ears. I mean, don't leave out the ears.
Yeah, they'll be the eyes and ears of the market. Like, why not? Right?
Darwin remembers, Juan Padilla remembers, Top VIP, Ben as well, Fat Figure as well. They all know this. It was a running gag at the time.
Well,
Ram. No, you don't,
remembers.
Ram. Ram's like, I do. What are you looking at over there, Darren?
I had this Tesla scalp because I like that area that we were talking about, and thank you for pointing this out to me, that 178.80 area here. We came into that and we kind of kept pushing it above. So I got involved initially around this area because I was like, it looks like we could be kind of ascending, wedging here as long as we held that VWAP area. Or sorry, not that VWAP, that 9 EMA, I apologize. VWAP is all the way up here around that 181. So yeah, so basically what happened was I got involved, kind of added into this range, got everything out once I saw we were having a hard time breaking that 179. So this is very scalpy. I'm really trying to, I'd like to branch out and, become a bit of a different style of trader as well. That being said, right now I find that doing what works best for me. I know this is going to sound crazy, but works best for me, right? I know it's kind of a weird way of putting it, but if I got to trade within my comfort zone in a way that makes sense, that I'm comfortable with, I think that's where I find A, I get the least stressed out and the least emotionally chopped up, and B, I tend to have like some more successes here, right? So to me, this is a cleaner look than this Tesla long I attempted earlier in this double bottom. So I was happy with this. Please just punch, no complaints and no regrets there.
That's a hell of a trade.
Thank you very much. I'm happy it worked out, and I mean, I had no reason to leave, as you said, balance of the evidence.
Yeah.
And also the trade is still valid, and so because we bounced off that 9 EMA, the trade was still valid. Also valid, Willis Addison, thank you so much for that $2 super chat. Loving these Apple swing puts. Dollar bag emoji. What a gift emoji. Dune 2 was fire emoji, fire emoji. I like reading the emojis. But yeah, thank you very much to Willis Addison. Congrats on both your Dune 2 viewing experience and your Apple swing puts. Okay, yeah, Apple. Apple's actually kind of getting rangy. But yeah, this is a nice look here. Swing puts, I'm guessing this would be maybe a bit of a longer time frame. But yeah, I do find what's interesting here, levels that I like on Apple. This 170, 60 area, we had a little bit of a bounce off here at 927, so right before open, so that's when the pre-market starts getting really spicy. Then we reject off this area around 1115, 1120, so I think this is a nice look here as well. Yeah, I think congrats to you here, down about 3% on the day. The market keeps chewing Apple up and spitting it out. So yeah, quite a look to the downside here with Apple. Ahmed Amwala, thank you so much for their AED at 729 super chat. Nice nail polish, Adora. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I like it.
I like Google today. Let's look at Google.
Google.
Yeah, Google, because and the way we say that too is because I know some people are like, oh, it's Google. It's because there are the two tickers. Yep. And I've said this before too. I was in a GOOGL trade that accidentally pulled up the wrong chart, the GOOG trade, the Goog chart, if you will. And then was like, where's my trade? And started freaking out. So, maybe that's just a me thing, but also there are two different charts there for sure. Google, yeah, this is an interesting one. Talk about this rounded bottom here, right? We kind of come down round 1036. Around when Jeff Mendel took the mic there in our Trader TV, you can go back to around, I think, 1040, 1045 for that. Awesome conversation there. Then we bounce off around this 130.60 area. We come up into 130.160s, chop and turn a little bit, dip down into that 9 EMA, and then pop back up here. So if we can keep making a higher high, if we can keep going here around that 130.160, I think that'd be a really nice look here on Google. Then I think the next area would be look at all of this kind of support around this 132 area. We come into this twice. First time we bounce up, second time we fall to the downside. So I think that 132, I guess more 131.93, but that's incredibly specific. So that area just shy of 132 definitely could serve as support and to make things spicy should Google have a hard time eclipsing it later. Yeah.
The chat is undefeated, bro. I mean, the chat remains undefeated on a day in, day out basis. Alex Davis calls on Sharif's shirt ripping if he sneezes. Bro, this is a stretchy shirt. Like, you guys don't believe this. I don't wear tight-fitting shirts. These are super stretchy. I could be like twice the size, and this would still fit me. You guys are funny. It's just the way it is, right? Like, shout out to Big Alex Davis there in the chat. Look, we're long Amazon now. We're looking to defend that 174 level. I've already wet my beak there through the break of the quarter dollar. The reason I like Amazon right now, nothing specific with a catalyst. It's a good looking drop here on the daily, 1.97 to the downside, but then it puts in this doji candle over here. And that is a candle, if you did our week on candlestick patterns, a bit of a candle of indecision, and also possibly one that shows a bit of a trend reversal. Nice move down, but if we can move up and maybe wet our beak at the $0.50, and if we're really lucky, we get a move up into around VWAP, which I really doubt, to be honest with you, given the current state of the market, then we'll take some profits there. I already have my out for this through the break of 174. I already took profits on it. We'll see what we get. Tim is in. They are not tight shirts. You're funny, Tim. Pitchbull, he was probably just joking. Well, I don't know. Maybe he's not. You never really know. CompuCare, when do you add on a winning trade or a losing trade? What a great question, CompuCare team. I love that question because it's something that I personally struggled with myself. I seem to, have this knack for adding or DCAing, dollar cost averaging, to my losers. I usually 99% of the time they're planned. So I'll be like, okay, well, I like this level, but I also like this level and this level. And I'm not sure which one is going to stop out at. So I'll put like a third of the order here and then a third and a third. Or if I like two levels, there'll be halves, right? But the problem is I don't add to my winners. And that's this problem, this block that I have. I don't want to see some of the profits that I have possibly be given back. So when you add at a higher level, if it doesn't continue to go, you're going to give back some of that money. And that's something that I personally have to work on, excuse me. So I just wanted to point that out. I think you're bang on for having that mindset to think about that. What I would say to you is this. Don't DCA unless they're planned, and they have to be planned based on levels, not just random, hey, let me get in here. So I like this area out of support if you're going long, but I also like these two areas of support possibly. And with respect to adding your winners, I mean, that's just a mental block that I have to get over. So once I'm over it, I'll let you know how I did it. But right now, I really don't have any, sadly, any things to suggest because I still do it. I still have a problem doing it, which is adding to my winners. Shout out to you, but great question there. The Hayes Records took 31% on Starbucks calls on the open bounce, but sold too soon, went 80%. Shout out to you, man. That's still good. Shout out to the Hayes Records, man. The fact that you printed on that, that's the most important part. You're always going to be upset as a trader. You never got the best price. You never got out the best out. That's normal. But, hey, just enjoy it. It's easy for me to say because I'd probably be feeling the same way you feel, right? So shout out to you. What's up, Katina, man? Oh, the podcast. Make sure Saturday mornings, if you don't have it already ready, all right, now I'm out of Amazon. I broke 174. If you don't have reminders to listen every Saturday morning to the podcast, well, then just go ahead and say, hey, Siri, remind me on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. to watch the podcast. I triggered everybody's Siri's, Katina, man. Did I trigger my own? No, I didn't. Shout out to you.
Yeah, no, I think honestly, too, also interesting that we have that podcast better coming up with regards to the Starbucks conversation, which again, shout out and congratulations to the Hayes Records for that lovely trade, but also because Sean and Brendan have a lovely conversation about Starbucks and do you tip at Starbucks? So I think that's certainly something worth listening to. Very entertaining, as always. I love listening to the podcast. They talk about Starbucks. They talk briefly about SNL. They talk a lot about the markets as well. So you get a little bit of everything. You get to see a little bit of behind-the-scenes look here at Trader TV if you get to listen to our podcast. I got out of this AMD short. Long, because we broke decisively below that level. This was an area where I had my little levels. We bounced a little bit. Looks like I got involved too late and then just didn't get out. We should have gotten out the second we failed that 2-150. That's okay. Not too down on this name, honestly. And I think as long as the ranges keep doing interesting things, we're coming into, and I'm going to draw another line here, because I like this area that we're coming into where we had a little bit of bounce earlier as well. If we bounce here again, there could be some levels, because like I said, I think one of the things that I do the most that I'm really trying to work on, and by the way, Sharif, thank you so much I appreciate, just going over the whole, having issues adding to winners and stuff too, right? Because I think a huge part of how to trade is being open about that. So thank you, because I think that's one thing that I work on as well, where I'll add to the positions, because you think, oh, if you add a little bit, maybe it'll go up, but then the ones that win, maybe you don't think about doing that. So I appreciate that. And I think
Imagine adding to the NVIDIA over time. So every time we think NVIDIA is extended, it's going to reverse. Imagine instead of trying to short it or trying to say, hey, this is the top, you added every time you thought that. It's tough to wrap my mind around. I personally have trouble doing it. So.
Yeah, I know, and I have the same, right? But anyway, so I think that's what I'm basically trying to kind of say. I think one thing that I'm working on learning is just, A, making sure, don't get involved in things when they're not a level, but B, just kind of being confident in the trades and seeing if you see things, try them and get involved. And I think one of my biggest superstitions is if a name doesn't work out once, maybe it's going to keep not working out. That's not the case. Sometimes it can be, right? But I think as long as what Neil said, if you're going to do this, make sure you're not revenge trading. Make sure that you have a clear thesis for getting back in. So again, for me, my thesis for getting back into AMD is, oh my gosh, the area where I got out, we ended up bouncing off of, because that was another area of support and resistance. So I should have been more cognizant of that. Didn't draw that line until after. That's okay. Being aware, not going to be too hasty. Shout out to the Spice Girls, and just kind of really making sure that we have these levels ahead of time.
Dave and OCEA Adara are both going. They're both over 50% now. Dave's at 54 3/4. It's at day's high. It's knocking on the door of 34. I know that rhymes. 52.5% for OCEA. It broke through 6 like it didn't even matter. And now it's got a 628 high. It's doing the dance right now with 6 1/4, 6 1/5, or thereabouts. Great move for both of these. Of course, I chose to take AISP rather than Dave and OCEA, but, let's compare more apple to apple, AISP and OCEA a bit more just given the price range and the spread. Dave a little bit more of a spready name. It just dropped $1 in the time it took me to say Dave. REAL is as well, similarly priced as well, but this one I've been disappointed a little bit with the volume, but the volume has started picking up a bit. We were complaining about the volume earlier around these candles over here. You can see sparsely traded. Then boom, for whatever reason, 1145 comes in, and then all of a sudden we're doing 300,000 shares per 5-minute candle. We're at day's high right now on REAL, breaking through 3 1/4. Great look here on the small cap gappers, man. They're all running. AV as well, pulling up off that base at 167.5. Now looking to break 170 again. I'm talking about AV. That's a fantastic look. So lots of stuff to trade here, but they're all extended, man. Look at Real at high day, OCA at high day. Come on, slow down here. Come back into a nice level so we can dip trade you. Maybe like 6 for OCA. Come on, OCA, around there. Yeah, but great look on all of them. Let's see what the mega caps are doing. We have Meta doing this wick into VWAP. Look how many times we're coming into that 491.5, 491 3/4, rejecting just south of that VWAP area on META, bouncing off 488. Is it working again, or are we still down on these Facebook platforms? No, we're up again, I think. Yeah, now it's working. My Instagram is working. Let's see my Facebook. Facebook is the one that alerted me. I was too busy being a degenerate on Facebook Marketplace looking for deals, and then it kept logging me out. And no, so everything's working now. So Marketplace is working, Facebook is working, and Instagram is working. So I guess really no negative catalyst there. But yeah, META doing rejections off VWAP. That probably has more to do with the weakness on the market RAM than it does anything to do with the Meta outage. So we'll continue to watch there. Let's see what everybody is chatting about in the chat. Michelle, Intel would look at, I would look at Intel on the longer time frame, seems like a short. Michelle, yeah, it got an interesting bounce today, or not, today, yesterday, right? Intel was bouncing yesterday?
Intel was bouncing yesterday.
Yeah,
Intel was like
bouncing yesterday.
on a trampoline yesterday to the upside.
It's down aggressively today, Adara. The most on my, except SMCI is beating Intel. SMCI down 5 3/4, Intel down 4 2/3. So they're both competing as to which chip name is down the most on the day.
Yeah, it's a pretty rough look for sure. I think someone earlier in the chat was mentioning Intel, so that might be in response to that. But yeah, Intel a bit weak, definitely. Another chip name I want to mention, though, is thank you so much, Nessa, for the $10 super chat. Love you guys. Y'all keep the energy amazing. Thank you so much. And I mean, you know, always we love the energy off the chat. And as well as Sharif says, we feed off. There's so many
100%.
fun things happen in the chat at all times. So thank you so much to you guys saying,
Elon is a joker, guys. Look what he just posted on X. If you're reading this post, it's because our servers are working. Troll, troll. He's obviously coming at Zuckerberg there for, I love it. Elon is undefeated.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but anyway, sorry. So, yeah, Nessa saying, love you guys. You'll keep the energy amazing. Thoughts on NVIDIA? Feeling long this Taco Tuesday, LOL. And you know what's interesting is as I say this, this one major area of resistance is actually getting a little bit the door knocked on once again here. By that, I mean that area that I was talking about with Sharif earlier, that 848.50. So look at this area earlier. We have that massive kind of doji candle a little bit on the 3-minute. Wicks up, wicks down. Then we pop off earlier. So the massive area of support here. And it was resistance earlier. We saw we got into that. Then we fell all the way back down to 843. And up to that point, we'd been, oh, sorry, I'm not talking to you. We were bouncing off that 9 EMA really well up into that point. So, yeah, sorry, Siri's trying to, like, get on the show. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. She's so needy.
Right? So needy. But right now, we're trying to push into that 849. As I say that, we push up into that 849. So, yeah, okay. I'm sorry I couldn't get to this one earlier. And I'm sorry that it literally moved as I was analyzing this one. But I do think as long as you're cognizant of that 848.50, which was a massive area of resistance earlier and an area of support here even earlier than that, I would say be aware of that 848.50 and certainly have, you know, plan with that in mind, I would say, just because that was such a clear area of resistance. But other than that, yeah, I think, you know, we do have lower highs. I think if we can make a higher high, and at that point, we really have to exceed that 856 area, I think that'd be a stronger look. But as we are still seeing higher lows. And the fact that we made a higher high above this 847 area, so we made a higher high in the new trend. I don't think that's a bad look either. Basically, long story short, be aware of that 848.50 because we are struggling with that 848.50, 849 area. But, you know, since we had that move down into, where is this? Since we had that move down into 836, we've had higher highs, higher lows. Definitely not a blue sky setup, but not really a bad look for that NVIDIA long as you're kind of cognizant of these previous areas of resistance. And the fact that on the longer term today, we do have lower highs. So that's my take on NVIDIA, and thank you very much for the super chat, Nessa.
Thank you very much. I think you may have a new enemy, Adara, Marriott. They're giving away free Taylor Swift tickets.
I mean, you know, to each their own. That seems like, you know, a lot of money on a loyalty program.
Yeah,
so.
I know. And Adara and I were talking off camera today, and now I know thoroughly why she doesn't like, and I gotta agree with her. Some of the things that she told me today. We're not gonna get into them, but yeah, shout out to Adara. And we're just joking, by the way, about her being an enemy. Calm down, Ram. Ram's trying to start beef over there. I like it. Ram. Guys, I want to talk about REAL, man. This one keeps going, guys. We're on our way to 4 here on REL. It wasn't a great mover earlier from this intervening period here because it was lightly traded on low volume, but that has since changed. The volume has really pumped up here. We're talking about almost 500,000 to about 750,000 shares per 5-minute candle. That's sufficient for me on these small cap gappers, incrementally moving up. We weren't up that much. Now we're knocking the door 20% on REAL, and it's this one. It's REAL and OCEA that are really getting my attention right now, with a bit of a twist, leaning more towards OCEA. Just based on what it's doing at the moment with this $6.50 area. So it's at a key area, $0.50, whole dollar. perhaps areas off which it would reject and then give us a better entry, perhaps off $6 or thereabouts. There was a bit of a consolidation top, but forget about me. This one's going. As I'm talking, this one's pumping. Here comes 6 2/3. Could we see 6 1/4? It looks like we're going to see 6 1/4 pretty quickly. This thing is flying up there into the mid 60% now on OCEA. Great move up. I mean, again, can't chase it at these levels. Need something in and around 6 or thereabouts. It gave you a quick 2-minute pullback over here before it decided to jump up another 50 pennies off that $6.30 dip. Here comes 6.80. There goes 6 1/4 Adara. Great move for the small cap traders on OCEA. 7 incoming. It just broke through the high of day, but I believe Neil is ready for that daily lesson with Neil. Right.
Directional bias. This is your lesson of the day. You're going to have it. If you're a trader, you're going to have a bias one way or the other pretty much every single time you sit down and get into a trade. So the question becomes, how do you use it to your advantage? How do you avoid from having it blow up your account? So like a couple of things. First thing, let's just get this right out of the way. If you enter a trade, you are essentially saying, I want this name or this stock, or if you're trading the futures, this market, whatever it might be. I want this to go up if I am long from here before it goes down to a certain price, or if you're betting the market's going to go down, you're going short, I want this to reach a certain price lower before I have to cover it higher. That in and of itself is a bias. Every single trade you make, you have a bias in that moment in the direction you are going to make the trade. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you sit down and you believe that a general market or maybe a general sector is just going to move in one direction that day. So a directional bias in the market can be really valuable for hunting out opportunities if you're right. But I'm going to give you one tip. I've been trading a long time. And in over the 20 years that I've been on trading floors, all of the worst days traders have tend to involve when their directional bias is wrong for obvious reasons. If you think the general market is going up and it trends down all day long, well, you're going to be finding longs all over the place that are going to be losing. And I think it's something you have to be careful about. So let's get this out of the way. How can you try to avoid having the bias get you into trouble? There's a difference between having a bias and having a plan. And I want to set it up. Why do you have the bias in the first place? I'll give an example here with the NASDAQ overnight because we're in a bull market. Clearly, as you can tell, in the last couple of days, I've blotted out today. The last couple of days had the NASDAQ pressing higher. And then yesterday, we double topped right at the open and overnight and then made lower highs. And right at the end of the day, this is a 2 o'clock wick on a 60-minute chart. Right at 2 o'clock, we just tanked and trended down. So you had a rejection off the top and a reversal. Now for me, there were some individual names that looked weak at the end of the day as well that led me to a directional bias down. But that's the kind of thing that can have you come into the following day thinking the market is going to drop because you've made this indication of at least a temporary top. So if that's the reason that I have a directional bias, then the rule needs to go with it. What is going to tell me that that bias is wrong? You've got to have something. And if the reason I think the NASDAQ is going down is that rejection of the double top, the big hammer candle at 2 o'clock, I simply look at the trend afterward or the key levels. Trend down is pretty key, and the 2 key levels are going to be this 18.25 and then this previous high. If at the open we are breaking trend off of this previous high, then I'm going to be very, very patient and say, okay, I still believe in the short, but if we break it out at that 18.25, my second level, I've got to put my bias on the back burner for a second because my reason for liking the directional short was that. Now, individual names, you can hold shorts that are still in the money for you if they haven't triggered your stops, but I don't want to be adding and piling in if it's giving me indications that it's breaking the trend back to the upside. My reason for liking shorts in individual stocks was because of the NASDAQ trending down and selling past those levels. So if we start breaking them back out, I cannot be looking to re-enter against that trend. It's important to set yourself a rule. Remember, If you have a directional bias, you can still be trading individual names that are doing their own thing. So it's important, if your reason is the NASDAQ, you develop something that says this is where I'm no longer as strong in my bias. If it comes back underneath, my bias is back on. If you don't set that rule, you're just going to constantly find shorts even as it goes against you, and you're just going to blow up your account. Now, another example of a bias can be on an individual stock. And I'll give you an example here on AMD for myself, which started out as a mixed bag, but thankfully worked out fine. The reason for the bias short, bit of a topping breakout that failed $205. So again, why was I short biased on the stock? Broke out yesterday at 05, found support, closed on weakness right back at the key price of 05. So my bias is I am short if this thing is not breaking out at the 05 level. So you're looking for short positions. Now, does that mean hold every short position at 205? No. Looking for shorts because of a certain condition is different from I am shorting it all the way into that price. So you've still got to set up individual trades that fit your bias. There is a difference between setting up a trade that conforms to your bias and simply just being in a net position the entire day in that direction regardless of price. If you ever are doing that, oh, I just want to be long, I don't care what price I get. Oh, I just want to be short, I don't care what price I get. Yeah, you've just set yourself up to lose because you don't have an out, you don't have a reason for being in the trade. So you set up trades that work underneath that price. If the stock is trading at 200 and I want shorts underneath 205, I've got to find a short that works underneath. So breaking down off the low, and then give it a stop back off the pre-market low. That's an actual trade, but I'll short it. Once it violates that rule, I get out and look for another short setup. I'm still biased to the short side. I don't mind looking for shorts. The opening range top, it wicks that top, fails that break. I look for a short with a stop out at the high. I'm getting in, trying to confirm my bias, but I'm willing to get out when it doesn't set up for me or it's no longer valid because I'm looking for shorts into 205. When it finally gets to 205, I'm not averaged in, I'm not holding it the entire way. I'm waiting for that top and you get the confirmation. And then I continue to look for things within my bias. Well, I'm only looking short. Once it breaks VWAP, I'm shorting into VWAP. When that violates, I get out of the trade. So if you have a bias on a stock, it's not I'm just short all day long underneath 205, which I suppose could be working depending on how you did it, but it's more about finding those short setups or long setups that both conform to your idea of trading, but give yourself an out. This is so important because what's going to happen is all of those days where you're just dead right and the shorts work out and you short into everything and your bias is correct, it's just going to give you all the reason in the world to not be disciplined on the days where you're wrong. And as I say, and I've been ending this pretty much every single day with a similar retort. When you make a trade and you get in, your out is the price you are paying for the winning trade. And I don't care how much you like a scoop of ice cream or a cup of coffee or whatever you happen to be into, or an apple fritter. If I got to pay 20 bucks for an apple fritter, it's not worth it. I love an apple fritter. But if I got to pay 20 bucks for it, I'm not doing it. Because there's always a price you are not willing to pay for something, even if it is good. And trading is exactly the same way. And if you have to pay more, on your losses than you are winning, you're going to be in trouble. Having a bias directionally can be a good thing, but have a reason for what will make that bias go away in the market. And if you're trading an individual stock with a directional bias, make sure that all the trades you're looking for in that direction have their own reasons for getting in and out, not just I pick direction and go that way and hold it forever. So that's your lesson of the day. Bias is required when you trade. You're going to have it. I know everybody is. The second you get in the trade, you have a bias in that direction. But you've got to follow some rules if you want to make sure your account stays in the green. That's the lesson of the day. Use bias to your advantage.
All right, guys, before we bring in the guests, we have some stuff to talk about. Meta's pumping up big here, coming off that 488 bottom, rocketed up to 494. Excuse the wicks here, I'm sorry. Snapchat as well. Shout out to the Katina man for showing me this one. Snap also pumping. There's a reason. It goes by the TikTok tailwind. Again, we're talking about this banning of TikToks. Now a new story coming in on CNBS that, the president could have the single-handed jurisdiction to ban an app. And we all know what the thinking there is that one day we could, well, not Canada, but the United States, definitely, we could come in, open it up in the app, and we could find TikTok blocked. So we're not sure what's going on exactly, but keep your eye on Meta, a bit of a midday pump here. Your eye on Snapchat as well. That's now up 3.25%, all owing to the TikTok tailwind, baby. And this was a big move for Meta last year. Here it is. Here is the headline. So I'm going to show this to you live. Biden administration's official, Mount, that's not it. Okay, where is it here? That's not the one. Hundreds of thousands of users. So we don't have it quite yet on my platform, but that just got reported on CNBC. So keep your eye on Snapchat. Keep your eye. Yeah. Yeah, bipartisan bill to address TikTok national security concerns. Lawmakers release new bipartisan bill. And then we got downtown Josh Brown on there as well. So shout out to CNBC for showing that, because I still don't have it on my blotter. Let me just check Snapchat real quick. Not seeing anything on my blotter either with respect to that. It's all about the TikTok, the Meta outages from earlier. Do we have the guests ready, Ram? Not yet. Okay, so we'll continue to look at some other stocks here. Now, how do you trade this Snapchat look over here, Adara? Oof. Dipping down to about 11.25. Do we look for some support, or are we going to short this pop here? So interesting decisions to be made, but somebody just got short the Qs.
Yeah, someone did get short the Qs, and initially it was looking good. I was really interested in getting some out of around that 9 EMA area. Then basically what happened was kind of popped back up off that 9 EMA, so getting a little bit dicey here. Ideally, I'd love to see us get into that 435.60 area, because look at that bottom here. Part of me was thinking this could have been a double bottom. The other part of me was like, Adara, look at how we're seeing this lower high. I also watched in the book, and we had a hard time initially getting to that 436.50 area in the book. Right now, I have my order set around that 436.30, so this is going to be scalp central over here, because like I said, this is the type of trading I'm more comfortable with, especially if things get dicey. I want to make sure that I have something that I can rely on. Sometimes you get into a position, it doesn't work out, and if you need to take pennies you shall take, or paper pennies in my case. So there we go. The look on the Qs. Also, AMD, as I was obsessively drawing these ranges earlier, and AMD coming into one of my areas, which is that 202.40. I need to extend that line a little bit here. But I like that 202.40. I like more accurately that we rejected off that 202.40. And that gives me until around this view up area, that 201.80 area. And again, also, this just comes from me watching the stock like a hawk all day. That also rhymed, which it wasn't supposed to, but that's all right. Also, I have AMD in my side chart, so I've just been kind of watching these levels ping pong here. Jay Lee saying that the TQQ gets better percentage. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I understand. Like, it definitely makes more sense. I just, for right now, though, as I learn, I'm kind of less comfortable with leverage. I just kind of want to see, but I do appreciate you saying that, Jay Lee. Much appreciated. And maybe as I get a little bit more comfortable, I'll be a little bit more comfortable adding some leverage, some spice to the proceedings there. For sure, but that's my look here on QQQ. A lot of people talking about NVIDIA 850 getting dicey. And yeah, we certainly, we did kind of get into that above the 848.50 area that Sharif and I were talking about earlier. Then we come to 850, reject a little bit. We could bounce here because, as support can become resistance, but it can also then flip back to support. I'm watching that big navy blue line around that 848.50 area. Shall we bounce? I think this could be quite a powerful bounce. And like I said, if we're looking at this, if we're looking at the longer term trend line starting at this 8:30 pre-market descent, then we're still headed to the downside. If we look from where we pop back up around 10:45, we're seeing higher highs, higher lows. So it depends on how wide your time frame is, and I guess how far ahead you're looking in terms of profit taking. But yeah, I think NVIDIA could get really spicy around this 850 area, which we're currently knocking on the door.
I like it. Coinbase, really interesting here. Somebody, I think it was Jay Lee, actually, shout out to Jay, tagging me and saying, hey, should we be going short coin here? Because Bitcoin's on the way down. So let's have a look at the chart over here. We have an interesting area of resistance on this 1 minute look here on coin. 225 sticking out like a sore thumb, but that's not for no reason. Look at these dips over here. Look at this trading range, even from, what time was that? That was the IB low right there. And then we also have another trading range low around 225 and a half-ish. So look, support flips to resistance here. So when we keep coming up into that 225 general area, we have a bit of a double top right there right now, but it's presenting you with an interesting range, Adara. 221 to the bottom over here and 225 to the top on Coinbase. So interesting here. Let's see what this one does at 225. So much do I like that level. I'm putting an alert. I'm going to put it in the high 224s so I can be alerted when it comes into that general area. But we're getting a nice move up right now on coin through the mid 223s. We could see 224 pretty soon. So decisions to be made at that 225 level. But that will have to wait for now, as we do have our awesome social media guest, Jad. Hello, hello. How are you? Hello, Jad? I think it's frozen, Ram. Okay, that's no problem. We'll get that taken care of. So Ram will deal with that, and then we'll have Jad back. But yeah, as we continue to look at, as we continue to wait for that, let me tell you about these small cap gappers. OCEA, we saw this one while Neil was dropping hot lines on, what's it called again?
Neil's lesson of the day.
Neil's lesson of the day. I'm so bad. I really like the real deal with Neil, but that's okay. Neil's lesson of the day, he was dropping hot lines. This one popped into $7.80, came back down in around 6.5. Now it's kind of doing the dance here south of 7 at 6 3/4, up 64, 65%. OCEA continuing to go here, baby, as these small cappers are not letting off. It did a big dip, obviously, through that top. So I'm seeing here that bounced off the 10-period moving average. So this one could still go. Like, there's no question about it. OCEA could we break above 7. Let's see if we get that move through 7 here. This is an interesting one. Just not sure I want to get it at these levels. There we go. A nice move up into 7 and a bit of a rejection at Dara. I'm going to send it to you and put out some orders. Okay, well, I think she's ready this time. So we've unfrozen Jad. So let's bring Jad back. Hello, Jad. How are you?
Hi, guys. I'm good, and you? I'm so sorry about this whole connection issue.
Oh, don't worry about it. It was just a little funny because it froze on your face and you didn't look very happy right there. So it's all good. How are you today? How's everything? How's your week?
I'm good. I guess that's what happens when you have a coworker on the other side of the Atlantic, right? You never know what can happen. But my day's good. It's getting dark here in Paris, but, you know, getting used to it.
Yeah, but the weather is getting a lot better, especially as spring inches on. Jad, what are we talking about today? Because you and I were discussing this, and we're going to talk about some celebrity influence.
Yeah, exactly. I think that celebrities influence the stock market heavily. We know that celebrities influence the economy. For example, we have Taylor Swift's tour that has an estimated impact of $5 billion on the global economy. We have a little chart about that for you guys right here. But have you guys ever wondered how something purely online, like a tweet or a meme, can influence the real world stock market? I don't know if you guys ever discuss it here at Trader TV.
Sorry, I didn't hear what the last part was.
Oh, I was wondering if you guys ever discussed at Trader TV or wondered how something purely online, like tweets or memes, can influence the real world market, you know?
Oh, yeah, Jad. I mean, we had this whole thing with crypto where a lot of celebrities were coming in endorsing crypto. I don't know if you remember LeBron James, Matt Damon doing the crypto.com. And then we had Tom Brady with Sam Bankman-Fried and that whole FTX thing that didn't end up looking that good. So there's been a lot of that lately, Jad.
Exactly. Like, for example, Bitcoin's price fell on a random Friday morning after Elon Musk posted a tweet suggesting that he had fallen out of love with that cryptocurrency. So we have a little tweet for you guys here about it. And then also, I think that celebrities like Elon have the power to mobilize their fan bases. You know, it's the ability to manipulate the stock market based on social media posts. And You know, they show the importance of memes when paired with the reach of a global celebrity or influencer. That's really important. I also remember that during a podcast that he did in 2018, he smoked weeds with his host live on air.
Yes.
And that was a big cultural moment that not everyone found funny, you know, and the investors weren't happy. So this significantly affected Tesla in the market, and the company's stock price, I think, dropped around by like 10%, which is a lot. And I think another prime example that we have of that is when Kylie Jenner tweeted in 2018, I think it was, that she didn't really use Snapchat anymore. And as a result, Snap, so the company that owns Snapchat, saw its market value tank by $1.3 billion.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's really interesting there. And Elon continues to affect, Jad, every day, the price of Tesla. He's just not going to be silenced by anybody. You could kind of tell that's his personality, and then that's how he's going to do things. By the way, I'm a big fan of Lincoln Park. Because the other slide here with Elon Musk, there's a reference to Lincoln Park. Anybody who wants a Lincoln Park suggestion, Castles of Glass, Jad. Listen to that song. Fantastic. Castles of Glass by Lincoln Park. Check it out. And for everybody in the chat as well, check that out as well.
Putting it on my playlist right now.
Awesome. All right, Jad. Thank you so much for being on. Killer as always. And we'll see you guys on Friday, hopefully.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. Have a good day.
You too. All right. Okay, I just did get the notification, Adara, that Coinbase did make it up to that 225 level. And I just want to say thanks again to Jad for coming on and letting us know what's hot in the market right now.
Yeah, thank you very much to Jed for that presentation. Some stuff on Taylor Swift there. Kylie Jenner, yeah, really bringing in just some ways that we talk about this all the time too, right? How media and how things people say, how a lot of Elon tweets, which is why that's a fun example too, can really give that market a little bit of a swish up there. So I think that's certainly an interesting look there for sure, especially with regards to Elon. Because remember, that was one thing as well. When I started here, I had friends being like, oh, so is it just like examples of like Elon talking and then Tesla stock going down? I was like, sometimes, you know, lots of other things as well. But yeah, just really an example of how social media can have a real impact on the stock market. So cool stuff. Thank you very much there. Also, yeah, that Coinbase level looking spicy to me. I very much agreed with the 2 cents that you put in there on Coinbase.
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Which is regarding that, well, this is a range. This is a range.
It is a range.
I love it. I like that 221 bottom. The one thing that makes me slightly nervous here is we do have slightly higher highs.
Exactly.
But we are having such a hard time with that 225 that I do think it looks a little bit spicy for my range trading purposes. And then I think as long as, you know, I'd be probably giving it like $1 that 226. Because also, you know what, I like this even better because look at this. We're in that 226.50 area. Look where we had support earlier.
Exactly.
Support can become resistance, and I do think that we have some power to continue to swap back down here on Coinbase. Seems like it's moving a little bit independently. As you can see here on the book, we got into that 225. We fell right back down. I'm going to be watching the book a couple more times for a couple more rejections before getting involved in this, but I do think Coinbase could be an interesting look for me for sure. The other range name I was really getting involved in was AMD, and AMD really left with the little trend lines I drew behind. That's okay. We took a small loss. We got out of my area of interest I left, so nothing too fancy there, but I think AMD is leaving my side chart and getting replaced with Coinbase. I'm
just going to have to throw it to you for a second because I'm going to have to put my outs and stuff on this Coinbase short because I'm short on Coinbase.
No worries. And thank you very much to Ramin/live trading by Tradertv.live saying for calling out my 2 cents on Coinbase pun. Thank you. Appreciate that. Tried to give a stealth pun there. And yeah, no, we very much appreciate Ramin and Fabian at all times here, our production team, killing it. Shout out to Mark and everyone else on the production side as well for more trading by TradertV Live, which you can always get here if you want to see Sean and Neil's positions at all times. They also will sometimes often give updates here as well. They're going to be present in the chat, but in case they aren't. Oh, it's also pinned in the chat description. Thank you very much, Ramin, for putting that one in my ear there. But yeah, Coinbase actually looking like we're getting a little bit funky here, so I might not have to short this. Unfortunately, I'm always looking for more range opportunities because AMD left me behind. But yeah, I think this Coinbase look is interesting. I do have Eli Lilly permanently living on my side chart now, which is suggested by Sharif, because one day I missed a nice range opportunity, and Sharif was like, you know what, Dara, you could just keep it on your side chart. And I was like, that's true, I can. So I did, and I love this range that we got earlier that unfortunately I did not participate in at all. But look at this pseudo flat bottom break here that we got earlier, around that 774.30 area, lower highs. Then for a while, we were kind of ping-ponging off that 774.30, 777, ping pong, ping pong, ping pong. We fall with a swiftness. Now we're approaching back into that 774.30 area. Should we reject, this could be an interesting short. And if we, you know what I mean, because support can become resistance. This was a lot of support earlier, so I am going to be watching out for Eli Lilly here. Also, though, I'm going to be keeping an eye on Novo, because I know, oh, there we go. Hi, Novo Nordisk. Novo Nordisk kind of similar, but a little bit harder to read here. We have that move up into that 125 area, kind of down into that 124.30. So I guess that gives you about 30 cents. But the top of the range is getting a little bit lower. This could also be a little bit flat bottom breaky, perhaps, may chance. I believe there was some news here on Lilly and Novo Nordisk. Let me pull this up. Okay, so there was some positive news on Novo Nordisk, apparently reducing the, there's a reduced risk for kidney disease-related events in people who are taking this drug. So, you know, you'd think that'd be a positive catalyst for Novo Nordisk, but I know also with regards to Mademoiselle Lilly, we did have some news coming, the US FDA saying that there's a limited availability for Mounjaro injection heading into early March 2024, as reported by Reuters. So maybe that's bringing both of them to the downside here. But yeah, if Novo Nordisk keeps getting kind of spicier, if we have that flat bottom break, I'm not going to say no to it. I think this or Coinbase will be replacing AMD in my side chart, because this we did not get the AM dump that I was thinking we'd get based on those ranges I had drawn out. That's okay. On to the next one. Shout out to Jay-Z.
Can you do the lesson, and then I'll do it on the top, because I just got to focus on this trade.
Not a problem there. Yeah, I know that Coinbase is spicy, so no worries there. But what's also spicy is this shorting a range breakout lesson that we have here for you. Let's get going here. I love, this is a great PowerPoint as well. Thank you. This is so funky. I love this.
Ram helped me with that too, yeah.
Go Ramin. Again, Go production team always killing it there. So shorting a range breakdown, basically this strategy, this is something I like ranges, so of course I was pleased as punch about this lesson. But basically this strategy involves short selling a stock that's been trading within a defined price range for quite some time. So basically what you do here when you get involved is you do so because you're anticipating a breakdown below the established support level, and then you're waiting for, because if you have that breakdown below the established support level, it's going to signal a potential shift towards a downtrend. And you know if you're going to be short, the downtrend is going to be pretty good for you, right? But why are we waiting for a breakdown? It'll help you confirm the change of trend, or the trend change, right? Sorry, a little bit mixing up the words there. Basically, this breakdown will suggest a break in buyer support, which can potentially indicate a shift in sentiment and the start of the downtrend. It also improved risk management here as well, right? If you're waiting for the breakdown, reduces the risk of entering a short position prematurely within the range where the price could still reverse and cause losses. So instead of thinking, oh, well, this could break down because we're near the bottom of the range, you're actually saying, hey, it has broken down and I'm taking advantage. I got a little bit too aggressive there, but want to make sure that you're taking an opportunity. Pardon?
Snapchat is going still.
Snapchat's going still.
Letting everybody
Thank
know.
you to Sean there. Yeah. Killer Katina, as Sharif has called him. But yeah, how do we identify opportunities? First, you want to define the range. Look for a stock with a consistent range on a chart. And this is often going to be identified by horizontal lines representing the resistance, which is the upper limit, or support, lower limit of the range. Coinbase is actually an example of this one, where you do have that bottom range of that 221 and the top of that 225 area, right? But there's always going to be some opportunities in the market, usually for some spicy range opportunities. Volume analysis, too, is another thing to keep in mind. You want to observe the trading volume, because generally lower volume is going to be expected within the range. And then if you get a spike in volume, this will often be accompanying the breakdown, which indicates increased selling pressure and a move to the downside, which of course is what you want if you're going to be shorting this range breakout. Or range breakdown, sorry. So let's also talk about entry and exit point considerations. For your entry point, you might want to consider entering the short position shortly after the price breaks below the support level, with confirmation from increased volume. So that shows that A, we broke below this area, the support isn't really supporting the market or this asset anymore. And B, we saw it with increased volume, which shows there's a lot of sellers here ready to go and break below that support level. Also worth noting as well, that if you have this volume confirmation, it really helps avoid false breakdowns that quickly reverse, because not only did we break down, but we did so with a lot of volume and a lot of participants. So that shows it might not be a fake out breakdown, it's the real deal. not with Neil this time. Also worth noting, profit taking. You want to consider where you might want to take some profit should the breakdown come to fruition. You might want to look at areas that served as previous resistance or support back on the chart, or any key areas that might act as support and send the price back up. Because, you know, maybe you want to take out some profits there before saving a piece for the dream, right? You really want to be able to plan, because I think one thing, at least from my experience, that can be a little bit stressful about trading breakdowns is if it happens and then you don't know how long to let the price fall to.
Right.
If you plan this ahead of time, you can be a little bit prepared, a little bit more limber, and a little bit more able to take advantage of that trade should the breakdown occur. Managing risk is also really important. You might want to place a stop loss order slightly above the support level to automatically exit your position if the price unexpectedly rises above the range, and that way you can limit potential losses. Also worth noting, position sizing. You might want to allocate a small portion of your capital to each short position due to the inherent risk of short selling, especially if you know you're waiting for some confirmation for your fake out breakout, right? So depending on where you get in as well, you might want to be even more cognizant about your sizing there. Also worth noting that this is not a foolproof strategy. The price could bounce off the support level and reverse upwards, which can cause losses. And that's why, as we said, as Sharif pointed out earlier, you might want to set your out just above, or your stop, sorry, just above that support level, so that if we do bounce, you're not going to be there anymore. You're falling off that trampoline, you're jumping off,
there you go.
You're jumping over to safety. False breakdowns also worth noting here as well, because they can occur and they can lead to unnecessary exits and missed opportunities. So you might want to utilize additional technical indicators or fundamental analysis to confirm the breakdown's validity. And that's where looking at these previous areas of support and resistance could come into play. What about the RSI? What other indicators do you like that are suggesting, hey, this is a good idea, it has some support, or, you know, no, this is only based on this one level, maybe I want to wait. And also always look at volume too, right? Last but not least though, short selling is inherently risky, so you always want to prioritize risk management, as you should with all trades, and conduct thorough research before implementing the strategy. Without further ado, Finn. There we go. And I just had to show that slide because it's really fun there. And there we go, that is the short selling situation.
All right, fantastic. While Daryl was dropping hot lines, we took $1 there on coin off that 225 into 224. But again, too early because it's on the way down to 223, and something tells me it's probably going to hit 221. But that's neither here nor there. Now, the Katina man bringing up Snapchat, and I do like this dip trade here possibly at 1140. Like we break through that level, but initially we had trouble breaking through that 1140 level. You had an attempt over here, and then twice over here, and then finally at 1226 you got the break of that 1140 level. For whatever reason, you got that pop into 1155, but you're right back down into 1140. So do you hold this previous resistance level? And prior to that, look what we had been doing, consecutively higher lows, right? Accumulating for that flat top breakout at 1140, but right back down we go. I mean, we didn't even clear 1140 by all that much, 17 pennies, because this candle over here, the top of it is 1157. So that's 17 pennies from the top breakout. Let's see if 1140 holds this time around. And then whether we get a nice move back up. How much is it going to cost us to find out? Well, we're going to get long here, and we're not going to give it too much room. We're going to give it to maybe 1135 or so. Let's see if we can make a nice move up, maybe to test that 11 and 2/3. That would just be aces, wouldn't it be? So let's see what we get here on Snap. In case you're wondering why Snap is moving midday like that willy-nilly, there seems to be something coming out of Washington here, and here it is. Lawmakers seek to force ByteDance to divest TikTok or face U.S. ban. Okay, so Congress is getting real gangster over here in the year of what's it called? The election year, because we could have done this last year. And nothing was done about this last year. Here comes from Benzinga. A bipartisan group of U.S. lawmakers are introducing legislation on Tuesday that would give China's ByteDance about 6 months to divest the popular short video app TikTok or face a U.S. ban, congressional aides told reporters. There's this Mike Gallagher guy who's the chair of the House. All right, we're not going to read the whole thing here. It's 165 days. The bill would give ByteDance 165 days to divest TikTok, which is used by more than 170 million Americans. That's a lot of people that using that, Adara. in this 170 million Americans. There's about 330, 340, 300, something like that, Katina, man. Yeah, so that's very interesting. Again, that doesn't really, what's that? 332, 332. Yeah, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. A lot of people are using TikTok, myself included. That obviously doesn't apply to us, Ram, because, well, we're in Canada. Ram likes TikTok as well, so shout out to Ram. We're long snap. Let's see what we get here or there.
Yeah, let's see how that goes. Hopefully that snap crackles and pops to the upside for that long. Yeah, Kellanova, yeah. I mean, I can't believe they're Kellanova now. We were talking about that recently because that was on the upgrades and downgrades, and you were like, oh, remember when this happened?
Tell you? I want to tell you the real deal, though. I see a lot of stuff on TikTok that I don't see on the mainstream media and that I don't see on other social platforms. That's what attracts me to it. I feel like I get a different perspective, the perspective that's not often talked about, and that's why I feel like I like it. Not because there's any dancing videos or anything like that. That's not the reason. It always gives me a different perspective, Adair, and I don't see it everywhere else. And sadly, you know, it just happens to be owned by a Chinese company. Whatever. Chinese perspective, says the Katina. That's not true, though, Katina, man. I see what you're going with that, and you may be right in certain instances, but I feel sometimes it just gives you a different perspective than what we see in the mainstream media. And that's just... Let's go. That's why I like Rumble on some things, says Tim is in. Yeah, same reason. Same reason. And go Rumble, baby. That's Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Sharif yearns for the brain rot? I don't. I try to keep my brain exercised most of the time. Most of the time. What do you got over there?
Yeah, I mean, we might regret this, but I did get a Philly in Miss Lily, who I've not traded in a while, but I really like this look here. I like that we have these higher highs. I like that we have these higher lows. I waited to see that we held the 773 area really well, got involved just above 773. This is a pretty short-lived trade. If we can get into that 774 area, I would be, say it with me, pleased as punch. I also want to get out before that area, though, because look where we had that area here of support earlier. I know support could become resistance. I know we had a hard time with that 774 earlier, so I absolutely want to be cognizant of that. If we break below into this where we had this wick here, that 772.50s, that's going to get a little bit dicey for me. It looks like we're heading there pretty quickly. So if we have a bounce off there, that would be nice for me indeed. We're going to have to wait and see how this goes. This could have been a bit too, I guess, swift of an entry point here, but I think for right now, I'm okay with it. I think, you know, it's the type of trade I like where we do have that clear defined resistance earlier. So we're going to have to wait and see what occurs here. The spread on this, though, is a little bit spready, even for Eli Lilly, about a 38 penny spread.
Wow.
So it was less so when I got in.
Okay.
So that does make me a little bit nervous, but we're going to give her about like 75 cents a dollar and see how this is shaking. Mahmoud would like our thoughts on Mara. Yeah, let's see. I actually traded Mara yesterday, which is not something I do a lot, but we had a range, so I tried to play that range. Mara, yeah, Mara's getting a little interesting for me here because look at this. We have that rejection here off of that 23.25 area. Well, look where he bounced earlier, 23.25. Mini support becoming mini resistance. Now that we're seeing lower highs, higher lows, we could get a little bit compressed here because, yeah, so basically we fall down here after bouncing off that support 23.25-esque. Then we come down into this 22.25 area, so we've dropped about $1. Then we kind of curl up with this 9 EMA, get back into that area, reject, but then we make a higher low, come back and then make a lower high, higher low, lower high, et cetera, et cetera. Not anything I have a lot of moves in. Really, though, I think we need a decisive break above that 23.25 area to really get anything shaking here. Mahmoud, I do not know if that helps because I think that that kind of move here above that, the 23.25 would be of interest to me because that was such a clear resistance area earlier. So I don't know if those help, but those are my thoughts on Mara, Mahmoud. Also, I really like this point here being made by Ramin/live trading by Trader TV Live in the chat.
Bang.
That stream also responded to with bang with so many G's at the end there. Your TikTok algo is built to your own watch time. So if you come across garbage content, what does that say? So yeah, Ramin giving a little bit of truth and a little bit of tea there. So two T's there coming from Trader TV Live. So thank you very much to that. Also, yeah, Mr. Mem saying Mara stair-stepping down. Yeah, that's a good point, too. I think the fact that we have these higher highs is kind of interest, but I'm kind of two minds on Mara. I honestly, I don't have a huge point of view, and this one isn't having much of a marathon in either direction. We're kind of jogging in place for Marathon Digital Holdings. So we're gonna have to wait and see what occurs. But also, the Stitch Lady is saying something that intrigues me. If you're in scalp mode, IBM is fun. I hear scalp mode and I go, So let's, it's on the NY, Adara. Yeah, and why did I do that? I don't know, but let's go to the NY. IBM, this is scalpy, okay. I like this. My scalp sense is tingling. We have this move down here into that 190.80 area. Then we kind of curl back up, higher highs, higher lows. Looks like we're starting to make move back up into this uptrend here. I want to see a little bit more support. The spread is about 3 pennies, so definitely less insane than Eli Lilly, which by the way is still around my point of entry, so not leaving this one right now. But yeah, I think this IBM is a good look indeed. Thank you, the Stitch Lady, for bringing this one back up to me because I think this is a nice little look here. In IBM, and I may be in IBM.
I like it. Long Meta, trying to hold, this is the range I'm looking at here, guys. So we had a lot of trouble 491.5 earlier, and that was a bit of a top, and now we dipped into 491. So looking to scalp a little bit here. If we can get like 50 pennies on this, that would be nice. Let's see, we get pop up on Meta, nice trade. All right, let's get out of that. Now back to Snap. Please just punch with these trades today back into Greensville, baby. And here comes Snap again, holding that general 1140-ish area. You know, we were looking at this area of support becoming, this area of resistance becoming support. It didn't hold exactly. So if you were like looking for that $11.40 area to hold to the penny, you didn't get it, but it generally held. I had my stop on the other side of 35, and now we're moving up again here, hopefully through the $0.50. Initially, the $0.50 break was met with selling. Even though we weren't able to make it up into 57. Let's see what we get this time. I'm going to be wetting my beak likely at the 55, which is the top over here. That's if we make it into that area. But yeah, interesting here on Snap. I mean, I'm looking for continuation. This may not be the move that I want it to be. We'll have to wait and see. Packing my patience right now on SNAP. I'm happy with this quick dip trade here on Meta. Big Kyle Burdett, Sharif, spin the money, smack the okay, and let out a big old nature boy. Woo! Big Kyle has put up his best trading day of 2024. Kyle, we're gonna spin the money 2 times for you today, my man. Shout out to Big Kyle Burdett. Printing over there. I don't know, Kyle, what'd you take today? You weren't too active in the chat. I didn't have an opportunity to see what you were trading. I know you were talking earlier on in the chat. I saw you there, but let me know what you're trading. Let everybody know what you're trading. Shout out to the Perma Bear, Big Kyle Burdett in the chat. Please, this plunge for you, my man. When you print, we're always happy for you over here. Unless you're taking a counter trend to me, then you're dead to me, Kyle. No, I'm kidding, of course. You're never dead to me. Shout out to Big Kyle Burdett. It's a joke.
I know,
Shout
I just was not prepared for how quickly that careened there. I love it.
I know, right? I tend to, have different emotions come in quickly there, Adara. Such is my nature. Guys, Google, what is going on? To Katina, man, have you had a look at Google today?
Same thing with TikTok. We're fucking idiots.
Yeah, well... I don't want to repeat what the Katina Man just said, but he made me laugh hard there. Shout out to the Katina Man. Yeah, Google is on the way up, Katina Man, and all I see there is a V-shaped retracement off pivots. Ram Ram, what do you think about this chart? Like, she said it's so hot.
It's the Instagram stories.
It's the Katina Man making a fantastic point in that this is likely the Instagram story with TikTok here all over again. Because Google has stories. They're YouTube Shorts, yeah. YouTube Shorts, which are obviously a huge competitor for TikTok, like with Reels with Meta. We know how that battle is going on between. So it's not just Snapchat and Meta that stand to benefit from the TikTok ban. It's going to be Google as well. But Adara, do you notice how the word in the article said divest? Means you got to sell the American brand of TikTok. And here's the thing. So there's going to be American TikTok, and then there's going to be world TikTok. And they're not going to be allowed to pool money. They're not going to be allowed to share resources. So American TikTok will be confined to growing as large as the American market can grow. It will not be allowed to participate in the whole world market like the rest of the ByteDance umbrella will be. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
so I think it's kind of like a death sentence a little bit for the company when you restrict them to one country, because we know social media is a world thing, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I always wondered. And that goes back to last year when this whole TikTok ban came to light. I was thinking the exact same thing at the time, like, so it's just going to be one American company of TikTok that can't do anything with the other branches of TikTok all over the world. I mean, I don't get how this works, right? And you're basically condemning the company to mediocrity because, well, it only has 330 million people that it can monetize, whereas Meta can monetize all 8 billion, right? I don't like the way that looks, but.
Yeah, that could get dicey for sure for TikTok.
Sutkar saying, I think all ad companies will get benefited. Yeah, of course, all ad companies. And that's what we're saying, Sutkar. That's why we're saying Google's pumping up here off that 130 and 2/3 bottom, breaking through 133 now because they have YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts stands to benefit from any sort of ban or, let's not even call it a ban. Let's just call it an embargo of sorts on TikTok or ByteDance or whoever. So, yeah, anybody who has any comments on what I said there. Maybe I'm misunderstanding the ban. Maybe you guys know something I don't. Does the company get to jive somehow together? I have no idea. But this is going to be super, super interesting to see how this all unfolds now, because now Congress is getting involved. It's not even going to be an executive action decision. I was expecting this going to come from the presidency. It seems to be it's going to come from the legislature. So super interesting talk, Ram, as this is coming in to yesterday's closing price at 133 1/3. That's the closing print on Google. That's where the institutional level print at 8 a.m. topped out at. So let's see what we get here. We're awfully close into that 133 1/3. We have a 133 1/4 high.
Yeah, no, I think that's certainly, this market has been giving you so many opportunities and things to look at.
Right?
Google certainly, yeah, that search engine looking for another high there. I think that's a really nice one for sure. Also, again, thank you to the Stitch Lady for mentioning IBM, because I do like the look of the scalp. I might have gotten involved just goes too late though. I couldn't get filled earlier. I didn't get too chasey because honestly, there's only been about like a 10 penny move since I got involved. But I'm worried that maybe the ghost has already been given up. In case it hasn't, though, I do have some areas I have some plans here. Gonna get some profit around that 193.54 area. Gonna save the rest of that scalp for that move up into 194s, although I will be gone by the time we hit 194 because we haven't even have a 194 high of day yet. I get nervous around highs of days. If we kind of get into that, that 193 area and fails, we're going to give this about 25 cents, then that's where I'm going to have to say sayonara to IBM. So we're giving this roughly 30, 25 pennies either way. The risk to reward ratio, like I said, that's another thing I'm definitely working on. The spread here has gotten a little bit bigger as well, and this top tail candle does make me a bit concerned, but I do like that we're having that bounce off the 90 MA. We're kind of holding up pretty well around that 193.25. Thank you very much. Appreciate the luck there, the Stitch Lady. Also, Eli Lilly, I'm pretty happy with. Basically, I did get out by the time we hit this line here. I was drawing that line of resistance because it was support earlier. We had a bit of a flat bottom break there, or a flat bottom break, quadunk type situation. Shout out to Sharif. Then we curled back up. I like the 90 MA bounce. I got in and got out right before we hit that 774. So Eli Lilly is always a little bit risky. So I always, had to be very cognizant. We didn't really get below though that 772.50 area that I had identified. So I could stay in. The trade stayed valid. And I exited with I didn't exit with a swiftness. I just kind of got filled and left. But yeah, so that was the deal there with Eli Lilly. Also, though, Coinbase, let's look at this. Some mentions of Coinbase here in the chat. So let's pull up Coinbase. Let's see what kind of base we have here on Coin. Yeah, I think that certainly higher lows, higher highs here for sure. Initially, though, I am very intrigued. I drew this line earlier, so I'd remember. Look at that 226.70 area. We got here, we kind of had that support earlier, bounced up, fell with the viciousness. Now look at all these failed wicks of buying into that 226.50, 226.70 area. The buyers say, no, you didn't, smack away. Or the sellers say, no, you didn't, smack away the buyers here. Right at that 226.60-esque area. So I think that could be a bit of a spicy area for Coinbase. Indeed. Also, Google falling. Oh, my gosh. Let's pull that up here. Big fall here for Google after a pseudo double top at that 131 area. even with this kind of recovery here, we still do have lower highs. We had that big pre-market high here at 818. Then we come back here around 930 right after the open, fall lower, and then kind of continue to fall here. Oh, the Stitch Lady saying maybe IBM, DCA to the IBM long. Yeah, I need to look at that. I agree. I think I might. We're going to have to wait and see what I do here. I'm going to have to adjust this plan because we're falling a little bit, but we haven't made a lower low yet. So I have no reason to leave this IWM just yet. Also, there was someone in the chat who I believe Mickey Rat, which is, I really enjoy that username. Hi, Bob, as Elon Musk once said there with regards to Disney, there, that Mickey Rat. But yeah, this AMC is having itself a day for sure.
Oh.
Look at this. We had that base here of that 420 area. Kind of this ping pong here. Then we bounce off the 9 EMA, slightly higher low here, 430. Then we fly. Is there any news on AMC? I know we had earnings for AMP, as Sharif sometimes calls it, last week. AMC Entertainment Holdings, not seeing anything right now, but yeah, this is a massive move to the upside here for AMC. High right now of the day, 455, so we're still near that high, making a little bit of chop and turn here, bouncing off that 9 EMA. Interesting look for AMC. Right now, I will have to see what I can do here in IBM, because we're falling a little bit here, but again, not making a lower low, so I have no reason to say au revoir to IBM right now.
Understood.
How are you doing?
Doing well. Wet our beak there through the break of the $0.50 on Snap. And here we go again. We're inching in to near highs. Technically, the high on this wick over here on the breaking of the news was 57s. Here we go with 53s, looking for a move into 2/3 of a dollar. Let's see if we can even squeeze into the 3/4 of a dollar area on Snapchat. Again, if you're just joining us, running up on news that possibly a TikTok ban or a forced divestiture could take place. Here we go with 54s, baby. We're coming into local highs here on SNAP, up about 4.5%, looking for a lot more. I'm scouring the book here, and I don't see big boy size to help prevent the ascension. I'm seeing some, perfunctory size, like what is this? A couple of thousand shares on an $11 name. So this really shouldn't hold it down. But again, we don't really know what's behind the book. Any icebergs are not going to be reflected until we get trading at that specific level. So we'll wait and see here. I'm not seeing anything huge or gargantuan on the book. Nor am I seeing, though, on the other side of that coin, I'm not seeing anything big follow me up, right? So what I mean by that is when we're moving up on a stock, sometimes you want to see what's on the bid as well behind you. And more specifically, you want to see if it's moving up with you. So say you saw an order with, like, say, 1,000 lots hanging out at $11.47, all right? And then you moved past that. Say we got to $11.57. You want to see if that 1,000 lots is going to stay at 47 or if it's going to move up, possibly in order to backstop you, and because the buyer is becoming, he wants to get in, but he wants a better price. So what we're looking for here is anything moving up with you on the bid to kind of backstop you if there's a big seller that comes in and pushes the price down. So I'm not seeing anything specific here on the bid to kind of indicate that, but what I see is the price action, and we've got higher highs, and we just got to 55s, which means we're 2 pennies off the high day on SNAP. So we'll continue to watch and see if we get anything worthwhile here. Already wet my beak for a nice little 10-penny winner there. All right, META, on the way up. So we were able to get a nice little scalp on this one for a nice, like, 30, 40 penny winner there, but that wasn't the move. The move was a VWAP hold and awfully nice move off VWAP, 49.5, 491.5, excuse me. Now we're knocking the door of 493. So great look up there on META, and this is the hold right here. And so this was the top initially in the morning, and then we broke through that on the TikTok news. And then when we came back down, we were holding that 491.5 previous area of resistance. Now, clearly support. I think you're going to like this one. Look at this. So look at this.
Whew.
Top, 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 and then you flip. Look at this. Bottom, bottom, bottom.
Ascending wedge.
Ascending wedge, and then it ended up holding,
Oof.
right? So I think that was.
I might have to pull this one up.
Yeah, this was a possibly good trade. All right, back to Snapchat. Days high right now at Dara, 1158. Snapchat, 5% of the good.
Yeah, this is certainly Snapchat, snap, crackle, popping to the upside. Honestly, I wish I could come up with a better pun for Snap, but I cannot. But yeah, really nice look there. I think we're going to have to get out of this IBM a little bit earlier than expected. And by that, I mean, I'm just changing my out. Initially, I was going to get part of this out here, but it looks like we're going to have a harder time, so I'm just going to get everything out here. We're at the top earlier and a bit of top insurance slightly after that. I do like that we're making higher lows, but I am not super patient, unfortunately. It's one thing I'm trying to work on. But I guess I'm so impatient that even working on the patience is making me impatient. So there we go. I like this IBM for now, though. And again, shout out to the Stitch Lady for calling this one out. Eli Lilly still struggling with that 774 30 area. Like, we had this crawl up here on the 9 EMA that was playing off that a little bit. I'm not going to get involved in the same again, though, because I'm seeing that we're having these lower highs. And by that, I mean we cannot get over that 774 the way that we could initially over here. So I think that 774, a clear area of rejection. This was a flat bottom break on Lilly earlier. Support can become resistance, and it certainly has here. So I'm going to be cognizant of that. Also, the spread on this one, widening to about 30 pennies. It got a little bit wider near the end of my tenure in this stock earlier today. But even then when I got in, it was around like 10, 20, which for Lilly is small potatoes. This 30, 25 cent spread for Lilly is a bit larger potatoes. And so I will not be getting back involved unless I see a pattern I like and a smaller spread. Also, this NVIDIA really having this nice little chop and turn, the stutter step to the upside. I believe Daryl Flinch saying that he took a small long position there, I think, so congrats to you on that. Certainly, there's been nice opportunities off that 9 EMA bounce. I know at one point, one of the real deals with Neil recently was about not getting attached to levels and anchoring bias, and so I might need to unanchor myself from that 9 EMA because I know this is a level I like quite a lot. But honestly, sometimes when a level works, it works. We have these bounces here coming up. I think it's a nice look, and as I was saying earlier to Nessa, I believe in a super chat, I think once we got over that 848.50 hurdle, I think it was pretty smooth sailing here to the upside. So anyone involved in this, congrats to you. Ironically, my only 2 NVIDIA trades were shorts, and I have no other move here unless I kind of see some more support resistance levels. Right now, the main level I'd be interested in is what we do at the 856, because that would be a higher high, at least in this from this other trend line for Eli Lilly. Sorry, NVIDIA. Yikes. For NVIDIA, so we're going to have to wait and see what we do here. IBM curling back up, but we're not near anything I have there, so no notes on that. Soul Crystal, I believe earlier, was asking me about my thoughts on the Cybertruck here, that Cybertruck being Tesla, and certainly kind of charging here, trying to charge back to the high side. We got above that 9 EMA, or sorry, that VWAP area, dipped right below, curled right back up, but having a little bit of trouble with that 181 area. The other area I identified that I think will be interesting, although I couldn't draw it exactly because it's kind of more of like a sloping line here, but that 182.30, 182.50 area, support, support, support 3 times. I think this could be a little bit of resistance potentially on that way up, so I'll be eyeing that 182, 182.50, but I think all that earlier ranges I identified are no longer in play, so we're going to have a whole clean slate, wipe the windshield wiper off for that TSLA, that Cybertruck, and see a new move up here as we get into that 182, 182.50.
I like it.
How's Snapchat going?
Just took profits at 1163. We waited for the 2/3 of a dollar to come in, like as advertised, and we wet our beak on that little profit target. So we're all done there on Snap. Look, it's not a rocket ship or anything, but a predictable trend. We get a news catalyst that's bearish for one company, bullish for the other. What was that lesson that we talked about?
Pairs trading.
Thank you. There you go. Now, this is a bit harder to pairs trade because, well, obviously TikTok's not a publicly traded company, so there was nothing to take south. But in this, like, that's the idea here when we talked about pairs trading on that week that we did it. Things that move inversely, right? I mean, we were talking about, I think the example we gave that week was Intel and NVIDIA, and those may not be inverse. Sometimes they may move in tandem, right? If chips are all moving in one direction, then, Intel could get a good day that day. But things that will always move counter at each other are things like, for example, if TikTok was a publicly traded company, you got a possible embargo or a ban or a divestiture or whatever, then obviously that would be good for all of its competitors. And that's kind of what we're talking about there. So anyway, out of that, looking for more. Let's look back here on META because this got right back into that previous high that we made off the bounce off VWAP. So Meta's been, I don't want to call it, well, let's just call a spade a spade. It is a bit of a range trade here. Whether it was earlier on, just south of VWAP, you were able to reload the short at VWAP and then take it back into the low, or whether now you're getting it on the bounce off VWAP as that has, they've kind of flipped the switch there. So this one trading in between that 491.5, give or take, into about 494, 493 and 3/4, give or take, in that area. So decent possible range trade continuation here on Meta. We already wet our beak on it and happy about that. It's obviously having some issues breaking above that 494 level, but nice move here on META. Let's see what else is moving in mega cap world. So let's see what NVIDIA's been up to. It's been really just hugging that break-even point on the day. The closing print yesterday was around 852. It's been trading at that level since basically 1230. So a bit of a half an hour consolidation range on NVIDIA there. What else is moving? Google, we talked about that one being awfully strong. It got into that 133 area. Now we're retracing a little bit down below 133 into that 132 and 3/4. Where do we hold support here? No really discernible area of support for me at these levels, except this very, very lightly traded pre-market consolidation top, which is at that 132 and 3/4, 132 and 2/3 right there. But that, I'm not going to put too much stock into that range, I'll tell you that, given how sparsely traded that was. Now, nothing else here except the fact that Softy and Amazon are both looking down and weak at the moment. Look at Softy curling right back down off that 20-period rejection. That will be the second 20-period rejection in so many areas. So look at this. Initially, we make it up to the 20-period at 1120, and we reject, coming back down to that 402. Then we come up to the 20-period again. The 20-period, sorry guys, by the way, on my chart is the yellow line. And then we curl. Again, we break it, you know, ever so briefly. The closing prints are all below or at the 20. And now we're curling right back down into that low again at near 403, 402 and 3/4. So we'll see what we get here on Softy. Amazon with much of the same look here as Softy with these 20-period rejections as well. Look, again, this one breaking through it ever so briefly and then right back down we go. Amazon trying to hold 174 at the moment with a low of 173.90. But yeah, down and to the right, both these go. And then if you were able to get them on the pops, short the pops, it was a fruitful endeavor for you. What else is going on? Let's check small caps over here. Okay, so Real continues to print near highs. It just made a new high a day of 385. So REAL, not the most heavily traded name on the day. It's not going to have a whole bunch of volume, but it's giving you a predictable up and to the right kind of move. It hasn't been the good one for me, I gotta tell you the truth. The one that's I've liked a lot more has been OCEA, but it's been a little bit dead after popping up through that 7 3/4, and then you had that big retracement down to about $6. And look, it's at 6.5 now, so it's recovered off that dip, but you're not getting those parabolic predictable moves anyway. If you want to trade this, it's holding the 20-period again quite well. For whatever reason, the 20's featuring on a lot of my analysis today. So the 20-period again is the yellow solid line. So those are the ones I'm looking at. And then AV, it's been very sideways near that 170 level ever since making that huge move up at the open from 150, and then Adara, this one started from 130 yesterday. So it's already up from yesterday's close, 30%. Not a bad look.
Oh my, yeah, not bad indeed. I was saying to you, I was like, this is my second earnings season that I've experienced or lived through so far in the trading world. And I find like the moves have been far more intense this time around than that first time. Like Tesla moved down almost 10% my first earnings season after that fateful October 18th conference call with Elon. Drops like 12% on the most recent earnings. And same with a lot of these Mag 7 names. I feel like the earnings moves have been a little bit more intense this second time around. So I don't know. It's just, I think I even remember, I think I asked you, like, are the earnings moves normally this crazy? Because I think a lot of these things have been moving with a viciousness that I did not really remember seeing my first time around. So certainly interesting. One thing as well that I've really noticed, and I've through my brief time in the market so far, is that things are going to react differently every single time, right? And sometimes I'll ask Brendan, I was like, how does that thing normally react? And he'll be like, the markets will react differently every time. And that's one thing I'm really trying to learn and adapt to. And I think, just one example here for earnings. I think it was Joanna Brewster earlier saying short arm, and wow, what a look. And I like it even more because look at the levels we have on this. We had the consolidative base around that 136.10 area. Then we come back, fall down off that 136.10-ish area earlier in the day, so that's like basically right off the open. That is right off the open. Come back, chop a turn a little bit around VWAP, jump back up, and bang, we fall back to the downside. Right again, you guessed it, around that 136.10. So congrats to you, Joanna Brewster. Anyone else involved in that move? Joanna Brewster was talking about that fateful Tesla date. Yeah, that October 18th was. That was a day. That conference call was a day. That earnings call.
He was so bleak on that day. Right?
There's not a lot of joy or mirth to be had in the Cybertruck that day.
We haven't hit that in a while. We haven't said mirth ever in the history of the midday show. It's
if you go back, you've never seen it. Yeah.
No, but by the way, Bard, before Bard got switched to Gemini, it used to be able to say, like, go into the Google or the YouTube transcript history and pull up what we would say on the show. And I tried that lately on Gemini, and it's not working. So, for example, when NVIDIA beat last year, not this year, I wanted to see what I said. So I'm like, what did Sharif say on May 25th or May 26th about NVIDIA, this, that, and misquoted me, to be fair. It like took what someone else said and said that I said it. But the point was that you'd be able to go into all these historical videos and see what someone said. And I don't know, maybe if we get that again on Gemini, maybe they screwed that up too. So maybe they'll have to fix that. If you are going to use a word like mirth, at least define it for us normal humans, says Neil in the chat. So get to defining it, Daryl.
Yeah, so
I already asked myself on Perplexity.
okay.
Neil said he already asked himself on Perplexity, which is an AI, thanks to Brendo. Now everyone's using that. I know he's not even there.
Yeah, I would say it's like, a state of being, at least how I would say it's like joy, it's being happy, it's being jovial. So I would say also it's less like an emotion, more an overall sense. Like you're feeling a sense of mirth. That would be that's my take on mirth.
Say that again. Yes, Ram's like, so that's the feeling I get when I bring vegan ice cream at 6 a.m. to work. Yes,
put some words in her mouth
It's
there,
exactly. Yeah. I know I added some words, but if I'm not trolling Ram, are we really friends, right? So Tim is in. Tell them to muse on it, and they will understand it with time. Oh my God. Okay. All right. We can't do that to everybody. We got to be nice to everybody. What is your look there, Adara? What do you got? Oh, there's
a super chat here from Hurt Scrambler.
Sorry, go for it.
Oh no, it's okay. No, it just came in now, so not too late on this one. Thank you very much to Hurt Scrambler for the $3 super chat. CNQ, look. Yeah, let's look at CNQ, and thank you very much for the super chat. Also, shout out to your name, because as someone who eats eggs, I'm sure Sharif is down for the scrambled type situation. We know Sharif has the eggs in the morning, and Hurt Scrambler implies a bit of an egg look. Oh, I like this. Okay. Why do I like this, you may ask? We had a pseudo, okay, I didn't even draw that, right? There we go. The trend lines are already off to a great start. No, I'm joking. But I like the pseudo double top. Let's switch to a 5-minute here, and then I'll go to the daily. This 5-minute, we have definitely some beautiful consolidation here around that 71.80 area from 10.15. Where is this? About 10 to 10.15. Pop back down into VWAP. This VWAP bounce has been a thing of beauty here for CNQ. What is this company? I think, is it mining related? Canadian Natural Resources. Shout out to Canada. Canadian Natural Resources reported earnings last week, better than expected earnings. The earnings may have been respected, but they were certainly better than expected. Q4 adjusted EPS 172, beating 160 estimate.
Okay.
And sales of 7.02 billion, beating the 6.94 billion estimate as well. So nice look here. Definitely a nice bounce here off VWAP on the day. And I like as well that we're seeing these higher highs, higher lows overall. Also a little bit of a dip buy opportunity if you don't want to wait till VWAP and you want to wait till that 9 EMA. There's some opportunities here as well. Looks like we could be falling just a skosh here around that consolidation at that 72.30 area, but we did the same thing earlier and kept bouncing off VWAP. So I would not put a VWAP bounce out of the question here for this CNQ.NY move here in the Canadian Natural Resources. Yeah, I think this is a nice look here on CNQ. Let's look at the daily, because I'm not sure of which time frame you're trying to get a look at here as well. Let's zoom out just a skosh. Oh, okay, I like this. I really like this. So I like that we had this base here around that 59 area. Let's get my handy trend lines out. Look at this 59 area that we bounced off once, twice, 3, 4 times. Come up, and this was actually that was a heck of a range. I'm kind of sad I missed that 59 to 68 area on the longer term here for CNQ. Then we bounce up here with the swiftness off that February 16th area, continuing to fly. Where are we now? Yeah, we're nice look here at 62 or 72, sorry, for that CNQ move here. Natural resources, certainly looking quite fine here for a lovely country of Canada. I think this is a nice look, and I think that 59 bounce certainly. Another area I'd be watching out for if we fall is going to be that 62, because 1, 2, 3, 4 times this pops up as an area of resistance. And also actually later, I'm going to extend this line because we also get it at an area of support. So it becomes resistance and then support. So this whole range of 59 to 62 to 68, a nice look for CNQ. Right now, though, like I said, I think we can pretty much count on that VWAP bounce. Although, not advice, just my take on the chart. Sure. The VWAP bounce has been gorgeous on CNQ. Hopefully that helps you there. Hurt Scrambler, also worth noting. Get a real job, they say, with a $10 super chat. Thank you very, very much for the support. Thank you, Neil and team. Shorted Intel at 44.10. Best print of the month.
Woo!
Woo!
Ric Flair, baby. Oh, he hit that. Neil loves that one. He has that on his stream deck.
Yeah, Neil, congratulating you, and yeah, thank you very much. That's 44.10. Wow. Yeah, thank you so much to everybody in our community, and thank you guys for the super chats. So yeah, this VWAP projection is gorgeous, and yeah, just happy to be here, happy to point out levels, and this Intel look. Yeah, Neil had the Intel on Intel, and that was a downside move for sure off that VWAP projection. How are you doing with Ocean?
Just got in. We're weaseling our way in. I have another DCA, planned DCA at the $0.50. My line in the sand is going to be the break of 640, because that creates a new low. Well, not creates a new low, but it breaks down through the consolidation range. We'll look to maybe reestablish. But this one's above VWAP. It's showing me the right stuff. Let's see if we get that move. But I want to talk about Apple, because people are yelling about Apple in the chat, Pampe and stuff like that. But I want to point out this level, guys. So we came into this level at 170. 80-ish area twice already today. Both have been rejections. The initial one over here at 11:15, and then obviously 11:20 was the red candle. We had the same look over here, 12:25 and 12:30. We got the red candle. It's a bit of a range. However, when you look at the lows of these ranges, each successive low is higher than the prior one. So initially, we dipped into 169.63, and then we dipped into 169.85, and now we're dipping into 170.13. So incrementally higher highs, and we actually broke the 50 period here, and then breaking it again, even though we didn't break it initially. So the second couple of times, I don't know if we get another rejection here on Apple, but definitely something to be aware of, that we were at these levels previously, and both the times they rejected. So we're going to keep our eye here on OCEA, as now we're in the money, but we're not in the money anything to celebrate about. We're looking through a move past 7. Well, and by we, I'm talking about me, right? I don't mean to put words in Adara's mouth here, because she's not even trading these OCEA stocks. She doesn't like the small cap gappers. Axla.
That was you were just trolling me there.
Not at all. Not at all.
No,
You're the one that told me.
Although Axla did end up on the pink sheet, someone was telling me in the chat, so it looks like I got the last
riddance,
laugh
Axla.
on Axla. Yeah, no, I mean, I actually did trade a small cap last week. I traded Viking Therapeutics last week.
Oh, bang.
In that range, and then I had a failed trade in Root as well. So I've been trying to dabble in small caps if I see ranges I like.
I respect that. So we're going to put a beak wetter at the 90 penny area, and then we're going to look to de-risk the majority of the position into 7 or a little after 7. We're going to look to see what we get here on OCEA, but looking for it to stair step up as it's been doing. I mean, like, you don't have to be a super chartered market technician to see the successively higher lows and higher highs that have come after that big boy Huadunk that we got after that 780 touch, and then right back down we went. The tape's heating up here, and when the tape starts moving like this, that means there's more volume participation. And when there's more participation, that means volatility's coming in. So we could see dips, we could see pops. Get ready for everything. Here comes the dip coming back down into 660 now after breaking through 680. Again, I've got my DCA sitting at $6.51 to defend that $0.50 level, but my line in the sand is clearly marked, and it is a break of 640. Break 640, that's going to be the end of the trade, and then we'll look maybe to reinstitute the trade in a different fashion. But OCEA doing its thing right now. We'll see what we get off this bad boy. A lot of volatility coming in just recently now as the tape has picked back up. All right, let's have a look at Meta here, because we've been still holding above the volume weighted average price on META, especially at this area of resistance prior. So we broke through this area here at around noon. Prior to that, that 491 3/4, 491 1/2 had been an obvious area of resistance. Now we're using that area as support on META. So looking possibly here to, I don't want to call this a flat bottom breakdown, but look at these incrementally lower highs with that flat bottom. And we had the exact opposite thing, Adara. We had the flat top breakout where we had incrementally higher lows with that same flat top, and we did get the flat top breakout initially. So do we get a flat bottom breakdown this time? I mean, hard to tell looking at this chart over here, but you know, we're going to have to wait and see whether we get it. 491 1/2 is where I'm looking.
Well, because you pointed out earlier as well that that's the same level both times, right? So that's even, I would say maybe even more confluence. Shout out to our pal Obi, who was killing it yesterday, filling in for Sean and killing it every day. We haven't even looked at Amazon. You know what? I know he doesn't really, trade as much Amazon anymore, but let's look at Amazon.
Consistent printing.
Was that distinctly different?
Yeah, consistently consistent.
I like that. I also like actually the range on this Amazon. Look at this pseudo bottom, although actually as I pull it up, it looks like we're breaking below. That 174 bottom with roughly a 174.80, 174.60 top. This could get spicy, but it looks like we're continuing to head to the downside, so this was not the right time for me to have pulled up this chart. If we get a move back up and make another lower high, probably even around where we have that 90 MA, that 174.50-ish area, because that's certainly been an area of top and churn, I might get short here, but I do not want to make any assumptions. Do not want to go chasing any waterfalls, because I don't want my trades to have to need that level of TLC right now, because I'm actually not a bad trading day overall, I have to say. For myself.
Funny.
Also, I want to mention, thank you. I want to mention this Tesla look, because this is actually one of the names that I'm down on, but I did have a couple good trades here. Just that one bad trade, unfortunately, outweighed the positive ones, which is, of course, not what you want to do as a trader.
Don't worry about that. She's talking to Neil. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not sure. But yeah, so I got involved here. I had a scalp long here. The scalp, this other long didn't work out just because I thought it was going to be double bottom. It looked nice on the book. Didn't end up moving the way I thought it would, so we dipped lower, we made a new low, I left the trade. Now, however, what I like though here about this other scalpy long is I like that we had a little bit of a consolidation forming, right? We had a bit of a top around that 181, bit of a bottom around that 180.75 area. I wanted in, I scalped this range and I got out. So just kind of a quick move here on Tesla. Also, Kenneth Choi, thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. Thank you for not shorting everyone's positions today. Laugh emoji.
I like it.
Thank you very much for that super chat. Much appreciated. Also, I know we're going to get in less than one in a moment, but I just got to kick out of this comment.
Go for it.
James Chisholm saying, I aspire to achieve whatever level of caffeine Adara maintains on a daily basis. Most of it's not caffeine. I was talking about Sharif about this morning.
I can vouch for that.
This is my only cup of coffee today, and we're not even a third done.
Guys, she's just naturally energetic.
I just love the markets. The markets keep me awake.
Yeah, you have natural energy, and that's just all there is to it. All right, guys, let's get to the lesson of the day. We are talking all week about short selling. Today, the context specifically is shorting a trading range breakdown. So let's get right to that, baby. So we have to understand what the crux of the strategy is here. So obviously goes without saying that short selling, basically you're selling a stock and you're trying to buy it at a lower price and vary from profit from the difference. So here what we're doing is where this strategy involves short selling a stock that has been trading within a defined price range for some time. What you're looking for here is the breakdown below the established level of support, signaling obviously a potential shift in sentiment and a downtrend. So that is the idea here. But why wait for the breakdown? So why don't you look to get in short at the top end of the range and trade it like you would a range trade? So Adair loves getting short at the top, getting long at the bottom. Any range trader loves to do that, whether it's horizontal or diagonal, upward or horizontal, upward or downward or horizontal, they all work the same. Why wait? So because you're waiting for confirmation of the trend change, right? Adair and I have said this a lot on the show. Okay, I have to cancel this lesson because I just got long here at the $0.50 on OCEA, so I need to see what this is going to do. Oh, and I got it. Oh, dang it. It stopped me. It stop hunted me below 640. Oh, that's so frustrating. Oh, geez, that's so frustrating. Okay, so I put my stop a little bit too tight, and then it popped right back up. That would have been an excellent ad. Whatever. So why wait for the breakdown? So you're looking for a confirmation of the trend change. So a breakdown suggests a break in buyer support, potentially indicating a shift in sentiment and the start of a downtrend. So you're participating, not anticipating, and it also is good risk management strategy. So waiting for the breakdown reduces the risk of entering a position short prematurely within a range, and then where the price could still pop up and break through that key level of resistance. So how do you identify these opportunities? So we're going to identify 3 steps here. The first step is defining stocks that are trading within a certain range. So that means that you've got to scour the charts to find these, right? So you're looking for a stock with a consistent price range on a chart. This is often identified by a horizontal lines representing resistance, representing support, and the price action zigzagging in between. Okay? And then step 2, you're going to look at the volume. What you want to see here is the break of the range to the downside. You want to see that break of the support area on more volume than you saw during, what's going on? Than you saw, all right. Than you saw during the actual trading range. So if it was doing about 500,000 shares a day, while it was trading within the range, you're looking for something bigger on the actual break, 1 million, whatever it's going to be. So you're looking for above average volume for the flat bottom break on the range. All right. And then you have to discuss your entry. So where are you going to get in? So this strategy suggests that you enter a position shortly after the price breaks that key area of support. And you're also, again, looking for confirmation from the volume. You want to see the volume show that people are really participating in this short, in this breakdown. I'm so angry about this OCEA trade. I can't believe I got bamboozled out of this. It's shooting right back up. Oh my goodness. And you also have to look at where you're going to take profits. So specifically, you want to take profits where... I'm
not seeing any news on this Disney either.
So you want to consider taking profits should the breakdown come into fruition. So you're looking for a previous support level on the chart below that flat bottom, which may act as a new area of support. So you want to be taking profits there. And then managing risk. Super important. You got to use stop losses when you're shorting. Place a stop order slightly above the support level to automatically exit your position if the price unexpectedly rises above the range, limiting your potential losses. And position sizing, equally as important for short selling as well. Allocate a smaller portion of your overall account to the shorts than you would the longs. If that means I have a rule that I will never allocate more than 5% of my account to any one long, I could perhaps adopt a similar rule in that I'll never take a trade short that accounts for more than 2.5% of my overall account. So you need to, create some rules with respect to that. And then also remember these 3 important little tidbits here. The strategy obviously isn't foolproof. The price might bounce off the support level and reverse back upwards, causing losses, and that's why you wait for the actual support level to break down. Even if the support level breaks down, we have false breakdowns and false breakouts all the time. So this can lead obviously to unnecessary exits and missed opportunities. To try to avoid this, use other technical indicators to confirm the breakdown's validity. You may want to look at RSI price divergence, MACD price divergence, or some of the other techniques we've showed you on the show. And short selling, you got to know, is inherently risky. Always prioritize risk management and conduct thorough research before getting into a long-term short position. Adara.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree as well. And I think also as someone who likes, at least on this intraday basis, on a scalper basis as well, trading these ranges, I think it is certainly important to be cognizant of the amount of volume that you're getting. And with that in mind as well, I think we have to pull up Disney. Because sorry, we weren't able to get to that. And shout out to Sharif for killing it there as we had those, you know, all that Disney move, totally killing it. Now Disney falling back equally strong. Also, thank you very much to Neil putting in the chat, Bob Iger, extremely confident DTC will be profitable by Q4 24. Oh yeah, by the fourth quarter of 2024. What is Disney? I don't even know what DTC stands for in Disney. Direct to consumer. Oh, they're streaming. Okay, thank you, Sean, for that. So the direct to consumer streaming aspect of Disney, Bob Iger saying they are extremely confident they'll be profitable at that point. Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, the only chart we can look at this is massive upside, 112 to 115. Wow. Falling back, but not falling back too much. I mean, it's a positive catalyst overall, right? But it looks like we went from red to green there on that massive pop out. Mickey Mouse, this House of Mouse, running to the upside. I think this is a really nice look. Also, yeah, Nessa asking about my zodiac sign. I'm a Capricorn. So there we go. That could have a little bit to do with the energy as well. But yeah, I think this, this Disney look, massive look there. And sorry that we couldn't get to that immediately. And thank you so much to Sharif for killing it with the lesson during that. Also, I saw Fat Figa in the chat mentioning Solwyn. So I wanted to pull that one up as well. Solwyn Holdings. So this is a nice look here for Solwyn Holdings, falling here below that 9 EMA right now. But other than that general uptrend here, 36.25%, up about $5.56. Not seeing anything on this. The only thing is the volume is kind of weak, where the volume below that 600,000 shares. So even Eli Lilly's doing more volume than this today, which so maybe not a ton of volume here. But yeah, that Disney move definitely did fall. It fell back after that giant pump there, just a skosh. And yeah, thank you, Sharif, for killing it with the lesson there while the House of Mouse was getting all
House
amped
of
up.
Mouse? What happened with the House of Mouse? I didn't see any of that.
Thank you to Neil for putting it in the chat. Bob Iger saying, what's up, Bob, as Elon Musk said that one time. Bob Iger saying that they're extremely confident, and I'm using quotes because that's exactly what he said, that they'll see profitability in direct-to-consumer by Q4 2024.
Oh, that's amazing because, well, they've been investing tons of money in that, so we'll see. Guys, we got that flat bottom break right now on META, but how deep is this bottom break going to go? Because we were talking about this 491.5, 491.5, 491 area, give or take. Not 491, I would say 491.5, definitely. That's the line there that we were looking for support off, and we had multiple multiple holds up there of support. So do we get short meta here? I mean, this is the question. We're below VWAP, we're below that obvious consolidation top from the earlier trading range. We were obviously bouncing off this range multiple times in the afternoon, and now we're giving up the ghost at 491. So let's see if we get the break of 491. Now we're holding up at the whole dollar for whatever reason. So let's go ahead and see what we get here on Meta. I'll go like that, and then we'll go like this, Adara. So we'll sit there like that, and then we'll go like this. So we'll put that stop in there. If it triggers to go short, if we get a nice break of that 491 area, it'll have to cross. So we're looking there for a nice move down. Nessa, Sharif, what's your zodiac sign? I'm a weirdo with signs. Well, I happen to be born on the cusp in between Taurus and Gemini. I'm a Toramai, says the Chilean Nightmare. I actually wanted to get a tattoo, so I don't have any tattoos, right? But I wanted to get a tattoo of, okay, so you know the sign for the Gemini is the twins, right? And the sign for the Taurus is the bull, right? I wanted to get a bull with two heads on it like that on my back, but then my mom said she would disown me, so I didn't do it.
Well, also because you're long biased. So you're double the bull. It's like a twice levered bull tattoo.
How do you think of this stuff? I didn't even see that. Yeah, but that's not,
I really like that.
I've always wanted to do something like that, but yeah, I've never gotten a tattoo. Never. Let's see. I'm a trader, says 4 Atlas. All right, bro. We're just dropping some lines. Don't worry about it. Your cra then. Cray cray. Oh, okay. Thanks, Nessa. Appreciate you too. All right, what do you got over there, Dara?
I have a Microsoft short. It's funny because I had this chart pulled up, and then Kyle Burdett tags me in the chat and is like, oh, there's Microsoft getting interesting here at this double bottom, which is interesting because that's kind of the same thought I was thinking. We were having a little bit of a move back down here off that 9 EMA. Looks like we're pulling back a little, or I guess popping back up a little bit here. I'm looking for that 402.80 rejection because that would be a decisively higher high. So we're giving this, what, about like 25 cents, math at era, about 25 cents. So it's about 1-to-1 risk to reward. I'd be liking to get out here around that 402.30, which given that I got in at 402.55, basically exactly 25 cents there. It's 25 cents either direction. I like this 9 EMA rejection, although again, the fact that it's a double bottom makes me a skosh concerned, but we will be keeping a watchful eye on this. I like to be monitoring my trades. Someone was mentioning this earlier in the chat, like, oh, you seem like, you monitor your trades. And it's interesting. I was like, yeah, like I think too, because I scalp, it's something that I really, you do need to babysit them because you can't let them run all willy-nilly, because if you're expecting small moves, you have to be willing to get out if you see small moves in the opposite direction as well, right? So I think it kind of goes both ways.
Yeah.
So that's my take on that. No DCAs planned for this just because we want it to be super scalpy. But that is the look on this this Microsoft here. But it looks like this trade might be going a bit against you. Might have to take out the USB on the hard drive out of this computer because we're getting near that 402.80. Not with any kind of swiftness, just hanging out. Also, Ron is saying, why is everything red? I don't have an answer, but I certainly can echo that question. I think, too, there could be a little bit of market, I guess, nerves heading into the Jay Powell hitting the mic tomorrow. Papa Powell, the reversion man, as Obi calls him, hitting the mic with regards to that testimony for Congress, both tomorrow and Tuesday, so you get double whammy. We also have Barr. Oh.
Hello?
Hi, Warren. How's it going? I don't know. I always do the weirdest voice. When
I know. You
pick up the phone from Warren.
Funny.
Yeah, it is what it is. Also, I got out of Microsoft since we got above that 402.80. Now we're falling back a little bit below. But you know what? Risk management is risk management for a reason. It's not there for me to manage it. I have to manage it so it doesn't manage me. Oh. So yeah, there we go. For that Microsoft, we're out of that for now. How is Meta going for you?
I didn't get in. It didn't break 491. So we had this. Well, it's a resting order. You can't see it because of the script, but it's on the other side, the south side of 491. And what we got was a pump right back up into 491.80, looking to go 492, but it is rejecting VWAP because it came into 492, which is where the volume weighted average price is on my chart. Negate this one over here. This one is not accurate at 49, whatever, 492.40. It's really at 492 exactly, or just below it by maybe 5 pennies, 491.95. In any event, it's near that area, and we didn't get the break of 491. So I'm looking for a possible topping tail candle here and a break of 491. If that happens, then we'll get triggered. So keeping my eye on Meta as we're looking to take this bad boy short again. Well, we took it long initially, but we did have we took it long over here, but we did have a wicked short on it earlier on. That's before we came on the show. That was around 10:30 or so. But what I'm looking at on my side chart, forget about the Meta weakness. There's some strength coming into Tesla for whatever reason now, coming off that 177.5 bottom. And here we go. We're inching into 182. But we've been up here before. We've been up here at around 12:30, and we did a bit of a topping tail reversal candle here at 181.75. We're at 181.5, so we're awfully close to that same level. Now, that level isn't from nowhere. This is the kind of IB low there on Tesla. Look at 930 and 935. Look at these lows. They come into 181.50. So if you're going to use the IB low, in this case, you need to be cognizant of these two tops right now that we've put in. Well, one is developing, one already developed, the one at 1230 is already done, but the one that we're doing right now, right back at that level, 181.5, 181.75, probably has a lot to do with the IB low at the open. So we'll continue to watch Tesla. It's been putting in a nice recovery off that 177 and a half dip, and I had an order at 175 in play here, and obviously that's not going to get filled on the day unless we dip aggressively. All right, back to Meta, because now we're knocking the door 491 again, Adara. So do we get the flat bottom break here on META, and then do we get filled? So let's see, now we're breaking. All right, we got the fill short. Let's see what we get here. I'm going to send it to you.
That was so exciting. I did the clap. I was like, whew. But yeah, I mean, also because we're talking about trading shorts, and look, that's a beautiful example here. Sharif giving us a in the wild example of these shorts. Also, Mr. Mems, Mr. Meme saying, pamp it, turtle emoji, turtle emoji. So, the little turtle here.
Yes, ma'am.
Getting excited. Our version of the Bears and Bulls. Shout out to Ramin for letting us put this little guy on the
what
desk.
is his name again?
So, Trend Ticker, the trading turtle. So there we go. Yeah, so certainly lots of trending tickers today. Also, Thomas asking me here about SoFi. Thomas Gist, I like that, asking about SoFi. So yeah, what a look here. I'm going to switch to the 5-minute, and then I'll look at the daily as well. SoFi, we did have some news on this. Announcing a proposed convertible senior note offering due 2029. Wow, downside, downside, downside. Also, though, maybe a pseudo flat bottom break, perhaps, by chance, around that we got around that 775 area. Lower high, 775 bottom. Fell with we didn't fall with much of a swiftness, but we did continue. Excuse me, our descent to the downside. Pull back a little bit up here in that 775, get swatted right back down. Seems like right now we're rejecting off that 9 EMA. And then also, maybe interesting, did we get another flat bottom break here potentially at that 741 area?
I like how the break destroys the chart.
Right?
It just like sends all the price action flying.
Well, just ask flat bottom breaks too in the wild. So look at that. It's very apt.
Very good point.
Apt animation. But yeah, we have this one a little bit less obvious, I think, than this one we had earlier. But we come into that 755 area, then we get a lower high of that 745, then we fall with a swiftness. We're having a really hard time coming back up here, down about 14% on SoFi. So not a fine look here on SoFi. My P-Pro 8 decided that it was not, I guess, not a fan of SoFi. My P-Pro 8 flat bottom broke there. Just going to pull that right back up here on the daily, so we can take a look at that daily look here for Thomas Gist. Oh, this is Meta still. SoFi. Yeah, I think the daily look on SoFi, I only have 2K. Oh, there we go. Getting the whole look on SoFi here. Yeah, this one, a little bit of a harder read. I will say for sure, some clear resistance for me on that 920 area, and I believe I've discussed this before. Every time I look at this chart, this area sticks out to me. Once, twice, three,
Obi thrice.
4 times. Yeah, Obi quatrice. I don't know.
He looked back, he's like, why is my name being said?
Always like, keep my name out of your guys' mouth. But yeah, we have this rejection a couple times here off that 920 area. And then it's interesting too, we're kind of falling into an area we've seen a little bit of support. That 740, 737. So I think if we close above that, it could be interesting. I do like this longer term range of that 740 to 920 area, but clearly the market, not a fan of those convertible senior notes. Nick converted SoFi to a short on the day. How is the, looks like the Meta short has a beak wetter.
we took a beak wetter right there, but Obi one day, he's gonna come and he's gonna do like a Will Smith. Keep my out of your mouth.
You have the Oscar slap?
Yeah. No, he's way too kind for that. Obi's one of the most chill dudes that I know. Very level-headed and awesome guy. In general, forget about trader.
Yeah.
Awesome trader. Well, we're just talking about he's an awesome individual. Shout out to the Obi, the one, the Kenobi, baby. They just came back from the meeting, the traders. They have a trader meeting. All right, guys, someone just told me by the name of Hal R, he's like, count your blessings, my friend, that you're out of OCEA. And this one starts giving up the ghost. But look, Hal, it's still above VWAP. I mean, in my book, it's still tradable. Obviously, I wouldn't be in the trade that I was previously in on this bad boy. We were in at 650 and we're there about 670 as well. But look where this 575 is. We're still well above VWAP right now. But we have an interesting look here developing at $6. So we have a lower high, another lower high. All the while, we've been holding this $6 level, and could it be another flat bottom break? You know what? I'm not going to ever be taking a small cap gappers short north of VWAP. I don't typically short small cap gappers because usually you gotta get shorts, and if I have to get shorts, I have to message the assistant manager, and then he has to get them for me, or I gotta ask the Katina man if he's free, or the Neil, because they have managers accounts. It takes a bit of time here, and so I would like to plan it out. I can't do it on the fly like I do with the longs. So I don't usually take these small cap gappers shorts, but if you were to look for something here for weakness in OCEA, it could be a break of 6. I would personally wait till it broke 575 though, where VWAP is. The one that has been trending all day is actually the one that we disparaged, and by we I mean me, this morning, saying that it didn't have enough volume. REAL. Look how excellent this stock has been trading. You've either taken a dip trade off the 10 or off the 20. It hasn't broken like both of those. It's only broken the 10 on 3 occasions, and it's held the 20 on every occasion. That goes from the opening print on to right now. It's never broken the 20. The 20 is the yellow line, the 10 is the green line. All right, look at that move up on REAL. It's awfully close to that $4. Keep your eye at that hold auto level. That might be an interesting short. You're not going to catch me shorting it though into strength. That's not my move. But REAL is, I would say, the winner for the small cap gappers. Now, we are also in AISP. We have, I don't want to call it a decent trade because it was a bad trade. We're green on the name, but it was a bad trade. I got in, I revenge traded this a little bit. Let's call a spade a spade. Got out of trouble with it, but it could have went the other way. Now it's actually holding up and breaking above VWAP. But we have this level with which to contend, and that's that $3.40 level. When we got here last time around at 12.10, we rejected. And we held the 50, but we didn't hold VWAP. So let's see if we can get above that 340 level, and then maybe we can start making moves with these higher highs coming into play here on AISP. Nothing else for me to look at other than these two. And then obviously Dave has been a fantastic one as well, but it's been awfully spready, and the volume has been suspect all day. It didn't pick up like it did on REAL, but Dave has been an absolute rocket ship. I mean, it closed out at $22 yesterday, and we touched 35 as the high. So it's a fantastic look, but this is not, one of the ones that we can trade safely on a prop floor, just owing to the spread and how it's trading at the moment. So those are the small cap gappers. Let's flip back to big tech and look real quick. Meta on the way down. So I took this one out too quick, Adair. I suck. But Meta on the way down. So that flat bottom break absolutely materializes. And Amazon, same look on Amazon. 170 is also coming in on Apple again, Katina man. The Katina man now is short NVIDIA. Keep your eye. Eh? He's short NVIDIA at 47, so he's a mere $2 in the money. Shout out to the Katina man there. That also looks like it's showing some weakness, Katina man, because on the way down it looks like. There it is. Spin it, Katina man. Come on, baby. Aw. Yes. There he goes. $3 in the money. Shout out to the Katina man. We are at lows right now on the NQ. The NQ is printing lows. We broke him through 17.9. We're on the other side now of 17.9. 17.878, the low of day right now. The SPY is tanking. The NQ is tanking. Softy's tanking. Meta's tanking. Amazon is on the way down as well. And then you heard the Katina man, $3 in the money on NVIDIA, Darryl.
Yeah, the second Deshaun was like, and the NVIDIA short was working, I was like, I should not have gotten involved in this long. I got involved where I did though, because for a second there, we did have a bit of a bounce off that 846 area, which was also a little bit of an area of interest earlier today. We felt, I was like, the plan is if we break below that 845 area decisively, I get out. Of course I get out and I get bottom wick. Now we're jumping back up.
Don't you just love that?
Right, every time I try to take a long on NVIDIA, it's always the wrong time to take a long on NVIDIA. Ironically, the shorts on the way up here worked earlier today, but that's okay. Very much down on the day. Thanks to that trade, I'm going to be really, really honest here. But there were some other positive trades, so I'm going to try not to focus on the negative. Like I said, the goal is eventually to become, of course, profitable and move out of the sim. And this was just, this was definitely a setback, but that's why we're here every day, how to trade, to learn, hopefully improve and grow. And didn't work out. That's why you just gotta put that aside and keep on moving, keep on keeping on. Also, Kyle Burdett, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. This is also, I guess, mentioning that SoFi analysis I did earlier. Adara, SoFi lost the anchored VWAP from 2023 lows. It was at 748. Use that as resistance if it pops. Sub $7 is very possible today, in my opinion. That's a good point. I mean, we've dropped lower since I last looked at this guy. Oh, wrong direction. There we go. Let's pull up that daily again. Yeah, let's see that 748. I see what you mean, like yeah, that's an interesting point. I mean, we definitely fell below that viciously, and I think if we go below $7, you're right. There's certainly quite the fall. I think who knows? We're already down about 14+%, but we do have a clear catalyst on it. Volume on this. Oh my gosh, 89.37 million volume. I didn't realize the extent of the volume. And we haven't had really much of a drop in volume either. SoFi volume staying pretty heavy throughout. So yeah, we could have more of a move lower. Thank you very much to Kyle Burdett for pointing that one out to me.
Kyle trades SoFi quite a bit though. It's not the first time he's pointed it out to me.
Okay, I didn't know that, yeah. So you definitely trust your analysis on that as well. Jay Lee echoing that analysis as well. So saying that SoFi is only slow downside now since it's SSR, I think. Thank you to Jay Lee for pointing that one out as well. I can't believe we only have about 13 minutes left on this day. What a crazy trading day it was. Positive day until we had that NVIDIA disaster. Not a WinVIDIA for me, but it is what it is. We live and we learn, and we also have to take the time to thank our lovely sponsor here. I like the bang button there. Thank you. At Benzinga, as you can hear here, I pulled up that SoFi headline earlier. One of the many things you can do with Benzinga, because you can, of course, get all of the deets on all of the market-moving information. And we are brought to you by Benzinga Pro, and you can sign up today for 50% off their premier news and research platform for retail traders with code TTV capital letters. That is TTV capital letters. Use the link in the description to go to checkout. And of course, now that I'm out, NVIDIA pops back up here. I was saying this to Sharif yesterday. All you can do is laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
things don't work out. You can't get too down about it. You know what I mean? You
well, there's been times that I wanted to punch the wall, and especially at home. Like, I mean, when I first started trading, oh my God, Adair, I've mentioned this on the show. Things were thrown, things were punched, things were broken. But like, I'm just talking for me here. And then as time goes on, you just get more control on your emotions, and that was really one of the biggest things for me, not wanting to smash the computer when things don't go your way. And I know everybody in the chat knows exactly what I'm talking about. We've all been there, right? Kyle Burdett, this selling feels very much like institutions who are not in the huge short float are systemically exiting. That's very interesting. I don't know, Kyle. I feel this is somehow like Jerome Powell related tomorrow, and once we get the general, the direction of where he's going to be heading. Hello? We get a bit more bullish, right? I mean, he's a bit of a wild card at this point, especially with the questions that he's going to get. These are not going to be press-style questions. These are going to be politically motivated questions that are basically formulated to make the senator or the representative look good, not him. So they want to make themselves look good here. So he usually comes out on the other end of that, either looking as wishy-washy or evasive or whatever other word you want to use. So we'll see what we get tomorrow. He'll be on both days, at the House and on the Senate. All right, a lot of stuff coming in here. Mahmoud, same here. I broke a lot of stuff. Yeah, emotional damage, says Alex S. And anyone who knows these memes that are on the internet knows exactly what I'm talking about. Let's see, Picky Eater, you remind me of the meme of a YouTuber smashing the keyboard. Well, we don't have to go far around here for that kind of stuff to happen. Well, that wasn't a smash, that was a drop. But I think it was one of the best moments we've had on the show. It's because it's like makes for great TV, right? Yeah, and we'll do it again. It says keyboard. Sharif Smash says Bbot 5000. I'm not Hulk, bro. Chase updates on the stock ET Energy Transfer. ET, what is this? I don't even know what that is. I'm gonna have to look. ET Go home. Energy transfer. Oh, decent. Up 1.28%. Not doing much today, though. I got to tell you, Chase, thank you for the super chat, by the way. I'm going to look on the daily chart here for you. ET is the ticker. All right, let's find out what this stock looks like. Okay. Not a bad look at all, my friend, especially for an energy stock. What is this? Energy Transfer owns and operates a diversified portfolios of energy assets in the United States. The company is engaged in natural gas. What's nat gas doing today? It's probably up, isn't it? Marginally. The contract is up 0.84, not getting much. I'm very surprised that this nat gas name is running up like this. That's crazy time, huh? Nat gas, midstream, and interstate transportation and storage. This is all nat gas stuff. Very interesting here, guys. Look at this. ET, this is the daily chart on this name. I mean, we're not talking parabolic moves here, but very steady up and to the right. Essentially, since November 2020, since the bottom, we're up, well, about 200%. Great look here. Thank you for showing me that, Chase, by the way. I'm going to keep this up on my side chart here. Well, on my watch list, I should say, because this is definitely one to watch. They're obviously doing something right at this company. You don't have a chart like this willy-nilly. That doesn't happen like that. So thank you for shouting that out. I don't have an understanding of exactly what they do, but from a technical sense, they look awfully good. Kyle Burdett, that was in reference to SoFi. Sorry, I gotcha. Mr. Long Shorts, I'm pretty good at not breaking things. Can't afford to lose and buy new equipment, but I can do some long-winded connections of swear words. Shout out to you, Mr. Long Shorts. I feel you there. Jay Lee, I feel your frustration also when I get huadunked. I'm still in a minus 50% position on ARQQ since they did an offering last year. Good security IT company with quantum, with what? With quantum safe stuff. Well, that's interesting. Well, hold on. We're going to take some profits here on Apple, baby. Nice move up on AAPL off that 170 hold. Here we go again, baby. Let's let Apple run to the high side. Here comes the $0.25 pleases punch. Let's see what else people are dropping hotlines. Big Kyle Burdett. I got you, my man. Thank you for the SoFi. Thank you for the super chat, Kyle. I appreciate you there. Ponzi, top it, bro. I don't know what do you mean, Ponzi? Let me know exactly what you mean there. Ponzi, Fonzie, shout out, no Lambo trade today. What's your look over there, Adara? As Apple's pumping, baby.
Yeah, my look is, it's something. We had, basically I tried to take this, I don't like to call it a revenge trade, I like to call it an avenge trade. This NVIDIA long was a mistake, then I saw a short that made sense, took it. Took part of it out, and then 846 bottom. Then I was like, I should have probably taken it all out there because then we bounced. Then I was like, as long as we don't let 848, I'm going to give this about $1, right? We didn't go above that 848. We held it pretty well, so I added in a little bit here. Now the plan is, because we're seeing slightly higher lows as well. If we can get back to that 846.50 area, I'd be pleased as punch. Taking the rest out here, we're still not cracking above that 848 area. And when I say avenge trade, what I mean is basically what I'm seeing is like, hey, the first time it didn't work out. If there's another look that makes more sense, it's like kind of my way of avenging myself in that stock. Maybe it's just me trying to talk around a revenge trade, who knows? But that's my take. And honestly, why I call it an avenge trade too is because it's basically take with better technicals that make sense to me with a better look. Although as Huang family is saying in the chat here, NVIDIA can't find a direction. Yeah, I don't disagree, and that's why this is, I think, maybe a little bit dicey. Holding on to the 848. Okay-ish for now. We're gonna have to see how this goes. Yeah, too bad that this one trade, by that I mean that long in NVIDIA, kind of knocked me off balance a bit for the day, but that's all right. Keep going, pick yourself up, brush yourself up. And as Sharif says, you are always angry as a trader. And I have felt that, a little bit. You're angry when you're up, you're angry when you're down. All you do is live, learn, and grow. Thank you so much to Rami Rahim for the $1 super chat. Not seeing a message here, but much appreciated. And thank you for all the support, everybody.
You said his name really well.
Did I?
Yeah. Because usually people say Rami.
Well, I know like Rami Malek.
Wow, very good. That's actually
because
really
he's Egyptian. Okay, there we go. Yes.
Yes.
I was like, because I really thought.
Yeah. Well, no, because usually people don't say Rami, right?
Really?
They say Rami.
Oh, okay.
Right? And it's Rami, right? So you said it really well. Shout out to you. Good for you. Really, Ramin. Ah, okay. Well, nobody's going to call you that, Ram.
You've been saying Ram now.
Yeah, well, because it's Ram. It's a nickname. I'm not calling her by her real name. But yeah, shout out to you. Yeah, there you go. She did. Even he even said you said his name right. Yeah, shout out to you.
And thanks again and happy to hear I pronounced your name correctly. That's always nice.
Yes. Apple coming back into my level here after we wet our beak through that break of 20. Let's see what we get again on Apple. How many times are we going to touch 170? But I feel like this is just an inevitability. All right. In the same way that we were accumulating at 180 and it was just an inevitable, eventuality where that we would break 180 south. I think 170 is the same thing. We're going to have to see how this trades below 170, whether or not a lot of participation starts coming in around there, but I expect this to break. So I already got filled on my 170 order today. I have more orders at 165, down into 160, and then we're going to reassess at that time, because if it comes into that level, I need to do a bit more research. So I'm adding there. I didn't get, sadly, my Tesla fill today at 175. I've got another DCA on Tesla for very small size, by the way, at 175. Today came into 177.57, so we got awfully close at that level. Alfred told me today that he added a decent amount of share size to Tesla. He already has a really big position, so he's only getting in minute amount at a time, Adara. But fantastic. Nothing. There's nothing fantastic today. It all went down. I want to mention Meta here, because Meta is on the way down aggressively. So that flat bottom break at that 491.5 is continuing to print. Look at this move down. We just broke 489. We're in the high 488s now. The low on the day on Meta is 488.10. So we're awfully close to low day. Last time around, though, at 488, we did get a bit of a double bottom or triple bottom here, depending on how you look at it. On the 5 minute, it'll be a double bottom. But keep your eye on 488 for possible support. That is the low of day.
Yeah, the low of day indeed it is. And yeah, this whole market, whoop, to the downside pretty much here. Tesla though, or sorry, not Tesla, I'm still looking at NVIDIA. NVIDIA, right now we're a couple pennies away from my fill. Hopefully if I keep talking, NVIDIA will get filled here because we're near my area of exit around. Yes, we got filled. Okay, that actually worked. Happy to hear it. Yeah, basically, ironically enough, the only trades for me that worked on NVIDIA were shorts. But yeah, the long didn't work out. That's okay. That's what I mean by a venge trade. We stayed within my area of entry. We stayed below that VWAP 848, 848.50 area, because that 848.50 as well, massive area of resistance earlier today. Happy it worked out. Please just punch, but also aware that it was a little bit of a riskier move. And yeah, that's really my take here on NVIDIA. Maybe, I want to be honest here, maybe me saying avenge trading is just a way of me avoiding that it's revenge trading, and maybe it's a little bit like what you were saying with the AISP, like don't try this at home, kids type of move.
I gotcha.
But yeah, honestly though, like I think that the short had better merits, better stuff backing it up than the long ever did anyway, because the general trend was to the downside. Still down in the day, but positive on that name, and I do feel like we avenged that mistake that I made. Also, I can't believe we only have like 2 minutes left. I feel like time flies when you're having a good time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh
Today, well, to be honest with you, like almost every day, we get these kind of, I don't know what it is. And I was telling you and I was telling Brendo, working at this job, I feel the days just fly by.
Same.
Right? It's crazy because we're so, busy, and we're always like ensconced in all this, like, headlines coming in. We're having to do all these chores, trade, this, that, and the other. Anyway, it always feels like the day goes by super quick here. We got a minute left on the show, Adara, before the big kahunas take over. What are your final thoughts?
Yeah, my final thought is, I know some people saying maybe so with regards to the revenge trading being kind of just a way of me not saying it's revenge trading, but that's okay. I'd like that we got this fill before NVIDIA popped back up. Ended up being a win NVIDIA. So, I'm not going to complain about that. Tesla, I think earlier it was Compass RX saying the rest of the market down and Tesla trying to curl back up. Tesla indeed struggling a little bit with that 182 area that Sharif and I were kind of talking about earlier. With regards to that area, we had a little bit of resistance, a little bit of support earlier, now coming into resistance. Perhaps a bit of a range happening on Tesla. Certainly some opportunities in the Cybertruck, as you were mentioning, you and Alfred as well. But now it's 2 o'clock. So we will see you tomorrow, same bad time, same bad channel, with some more short strategies. For now, though, Brendan's at the big desk, guys.
170 broke.
Hey guys, welcome in. 2 o'clock on a busy afternoon here as we continue to slide to the downside, mostly due to weakness in tech continuing this afternoon.